happy, and why? 610-632-0975. We'll give you your chance to vent. We'll give you your chance to share that opinion coming up. John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic. I love H&H Heating and Air Conditioning. I love them. I'm a customer. They just serviced our HVAC system. They make sure that before the coldest weather comes in, they have maintained our system and made sure that we're ready for the long winter ahead. I love the pros at H&H. DelcoHVAC.com is where you find them. But if you're in Montgomery County, Southern Delaware, you're in New Jersey, whatever, they can take care of you. Montgomery, Philly. They're customer-focused. They're knowledgeable. They're solutions-oriented. Better yet, though, for me, they're on time, they're on budget, and they're on point. And for a limited time, when you visit DelcoHVAC.com, schedule a gas furnace tune-up for just $7.
back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on The Fanatic, the day that James Harden was traded to the Clippers. Where's James Harden on your all-time Sixers list? Bottom! Freaking bottom!
No, he's higher up than Jarvis Farnado.
Well, I didn't read Bob's piece on Jarvis, so I have to get to that.
Award-winning.
A lot of people want to get in and share their thoughts, and I bet you we're going to have lots of conflicting opinion today. We already have it in our own studios. We'll have it on the phones with you, too, at 610-632-0975. Harden traded to the Clippers while we were sleeping, and we'll go over some of the names, Bob. Yeah, it's all expiring contracts.
Yeah, let's give the particulars now. So people that are just waking up that we're just saying Harden got traded. So we'll give you the particulars. James Harden is gone, as well as P.J. Tucker and Filip Petrusev. They all go to the Clippers. The Sixers get 34-year-old Marcus Morris, 32-year-old Robert Covington, soon-to-be 35-year-old Nicholas Batum, 22-year-old K.J. Martin Jr., a 2028 first-round pick, 2 second-round picks in the future, a 2029 pick swap with the Clippers, and a first-round pick from another team. So interesting. It's not helping them now. None of this is helping them now. Are these things bundled together that helps them maybe get a player this year with all these assets? Maybe. Is there more to come? Probably has to be. So that's where you have it. It's not a trade that right now you say, oh, great for the team, only if you say, oh, great for the team that they got rid of Harden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing that's helping them X's and O's wise on the basketball court right now. Could it help in the future? Yeah, it frees up money. You could use all of these assets maybe to get a player with the money you have later on this season or maybe sometime
Trade
soon.
deadline or something.
Yeah, so we'll see. If you wanted rid of Harden, you got it.
Yes.
If you wanted to make this team better right now and people are talking about man and try to get whatever, you didn't, but you got rid of Harden.
What I would say is you own a house. And it's a really nice house. It's a house that, it needs a little work. It's not as good as it was 6 years ago, but it's a nice house. You got to sell it. And you're looking to sell it because you're sort of up against it. You want to sell it. And you got one buyer who's interested. One person makes an offer. You decline their offer and you say, you're not giving me enough for this house. And then nobody else wants your house. Nobody. Everybody sees your house for what it is and says what you're asking is way too much. So you're sitting there and you're sitting on the house, and there it is. You got to be ready because there's one buyer, and that's what the Clippers were. You had one buyer. You had nobody to negotiate with. You had nobody to leverage against. Nobody wanted James Harden. James Harden thinks he's 27-year-old James Harden. The rest of the league has spoken clearly on who they think he is. So let's hear what you have to say. Shane in Wilmington, you're going to bat lead off. Shane, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning, fellas.
Morning.
John, I agree with you. Pat and Bob, I just wanted to say something, Bob. So a couple things. These assets are going to be flipped for another player. It's possible as soon as possible at the deadline. And as far as getting rid of Tucker's contract, when we were forced to sign Paul Reed, before we were forced to do that, we were projected to have around $60 million next year coming. And so Paul Reed ate up another 8 of that. So now we're back to having a max slot in the offseason plus money, which we can use to sign someone and has nothing to do with Maxi because he's our own player. We're going to be able to keep him no matter what our cap situation.
Are you being chased by an attacker
I'm
right
running.
now? Oh, you're running right
running.
now.
I'm sorry.
We love it. We love it, man. Good job. We're going to let you go, and we'll react to it so you can hear. Bob, what do you think about that?
That's what this is all for, and that's what I stated at the beginning of the show, that it didn't do anything to help you on the basketball court now. What you're looking is future assets. Are you going to turn all of this into something different? It frees up money. You'll be able to sign Maxi, and you'll have money to get somebody else probably. Draft picks are always good in trade values. It's all something about the future. It has nothing to do with right now. The one thing that you only have to be happy about right now, and that's how I look at basketball. What do you have on the court right now? The only thing you have to be happy about is right now you got rid of James Harden.
Yes.
There's the future moves. Yeah, this is all good for the future as far as this basketball team now. Yeah, I was just looking at the trade of what you got and all that stuff. I just wanted to say, yeah, there's nothing there.
Sixers 34-18, Bob, at the trade deadline. Do you think they then use some of these assets to make a deal? Or do you think it's more about waiting till next offseason when you free up all this money? And again, I'm looking at it here, they will have a max slot available for a player, and that doesn't include Maxi. So you can sign Maxi, you got Embiid, and you have a max slot for somebody to come in here to be a guy who actually wants to be here and wants to contribute and doesn't want out. You got to just find the guy. I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to read the situation. Is this a team that's playing really well under Nick Nurse and you need one more piece, or you feel you need one more piece? You're going to have to look at how is Milwaukee, how is Boston. You're always looking to get yourself better. This puts them in a position in the future to get better. If that future is this year or next year, for the immediacy of it, that's on Daryl Morey. And you said before the show started, you're not sure if you trust him.
No, I'm not sure if I would trust him to just because he's a guy that I went back and was looking at just to get more educated on it, his trade history. And he'll throw the kitchen sink to go for it now. That's why I wondered if he'll use this to try to do something that's more immediate than that. I'll tell you this, that 28 pick, though, Pat, the Clippers are going to suck. For years, they have a bunch of expiring They have one shot at it this year. That's their expiring contracts across the board on their whole roster. Every one of their starters pretty much are coming up on expiring contracts.
Yeah, it's still LA though. That's why, I think they'll suck in 2028.
That's a great point, though. Yeah,
but yeah, I remember when the Sixers traded Mikal Bridges, and the big thing was, they got the Heat's unprotected pick. I think the best thing they did was trade that pick because I remember telling our buddy Devon Givens at the time, the Heat are never going to be that bad for that long. They might be bad for a year, but it's Miami. It's a good organization, but it's also an attractive destination. Sure enough, that unprotected Heat pick was, in the teens. It wasn't
the impact you thought.
Yeah, exactly. So I would hope that the 2028 pick is bad. I would hope that the Clippers look more like the 1999 Clippers instead of the recent, all of a sudden people wanting to go there. But I don't know. It's still LA. It's still an attractive spot. And if they have max money, they would be able, I would think, to attract a top-level guy.
Listen what we're talking about. 2028 first-round pick. I mean, Joel Embiid's going to be 35 years old, whether he's still here or not. We have no idea what 2028 brings about. So that's another reason where I'm like, I can't even think about that. A 2028 first-round pick, the Clippers are going to suck. I don't know that they're even going to still have that pick. You know what I mean? That might be one of your biggest trade assets, getting that pick to look to try to shore up this team in the near future.
Ike in Southwest Philly jumps in with us. Ike, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning. First of all, Bob, you're 100% right. I think they're flipping it. That's why I think they're Pat wrong saying that the window closed. I just think that this is just the setup to whatever they're going to do, be it the trade deadline or next year. Everything you said, I agree with. And if you look at it, think about all the big trades that happened over the last couple of years. You remember we was looking at it and say, hey, they got him for 3 second-round picks, 4 second-round picks, stuff like that. I think Morey did the right thing. And then if you get somebody else that want to give up and blow up their team, they're going to want expiring contracts as well. So I think that this is a setup. And the last thing I want to say, John, you too personal with this, in my opinion. James Harden ain't did nothing to me. He ain't did nothing.
What are you talking about personal?
Because you.
It's all professional.
No. Every time you talk, you make it feel like it's so personal. Like how Bob, it seemed like he's removing himself and just thinking of it.
Well, give me an example. Give me an example.
Because you sitting there talking about, he's so selfish. We knew what he is. I know his character.
His professionalism is shown. Ike?
Do you know him?
Ike, no. Ike, it's his professional career I'm speaking of. And I'm speaking of stuff that's on the record and is as obvious.
You are taking it too personal.
No, Ike.
It's like a business, and you.
Ike, he doesn't run it like a business because he doesn't run it.
That's how he's looking at it.
He isn't. He's looking at it as he wants out of his third place in 4 years.
That's his business. Yeah, he's done bad business. James Harden has done bad business.
He's a
And we
bad
talked
businessman, is what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, don't let the door hit you in the ass, all that stuff.
Yes,
I know what Ike is saying, that the personal stuff. I understand that, and that's okay. John's a fan of the team, so things are going to be personal. He wants this team to be good. So, Ike, I agree with you. I hear you what you're saying, but that's okay. It's okay that you do that. I remove myself from fandom when I look at these trades and all that stuff and how does it affect the team. My first reaction was, okay, right now it doesn't affect the team at all. You have all these assets now. Yes, now you look to make the bigger move. Is Daryl Morey the guy to do it?
That concerns me today. And that's another topic off of this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, have they put themselves in a better place to get better in the future? Yes. For people, like some of the first things that I heard this morning was, it's a great trade because, this guy can. No, none of these guys are really going to help this team. None of these guys that they picked up in the trade are going to help this team. They're collateral. And that's the way you have to look at this trade.
And more importantly, is my opinion on James Harden has never changed as a professional. It was the same the day he arrived. It's the same the day he's leaving. It's exactly what I've always thought of him. And I think he proved it out. He showed me who he was. Mike and Delran always shows us who he is. Michael, I imagine you're a little perturbed this morning.
This franchise sucks. Nobody wants to play here. I don't even want to be a fan here. I have to. It sucks. Like I don't listen. If you blame Harden, then that's on you. You knew who he was when he got here.
Yep.
So Daryl Morey too. He's the biggest problem. Him and Josh Harris need to go.
Hello.
I'm pissed off. Listen to me. If you have a toddler who loves to color on the wall, and you leave him alone for 5 minutes and you leave crayons in his reach, who are you going to be pissed off at? The toddler? No, it was your fault because you knew he was going to do it. This team sucks. I hope Embiid asks out now because we are going to ruin the rest of his career because our franchise is a joke. If you can't look at the last decade and count on two hands how many black eyes we've gotten in this franchise that no other franchise in any other sport deal with, then shame on you. Screw the Sixers. Go Birds!
Mike.
I love it.
Mike's a wordsmith.
So there's a great question here on our YouTube chat from MBDBDBF.
That's great.
And he says, it's not a question. It's a quote what Morey said before. We'll only move James for equal value. The people that were looking for equal value were looking for like a man or a pal or something like that, somebody that could come in and play right now. You didn't get anything. You didn't get anything to help this team right now. Are you satisfied that the equal value is in the assets that you collected that can help you in the future? Are you satisfied with it? Forget about I'm just glad Harden's gone. Forget about that for a minute. The business aspect of it. Are you satisfied with this trade for the future assets that it brought you? That's the way you have to look at it.
I actually am not. I don't. Now that the max slot is open up for next year, I'm not ultimately against it. But what I am disappointed in is that I believe our chances in 2023 are less, and so that disappoints me.
Why?
So I'm on both because I don't believe this team.
But you didn't want Harden to play on this team anyway.
I didn't. But I also didn't want. I did not want him on the court. But I did think that they would be able to return. I didn't think it would be as much future as it is.
So now, that's the question, right?
Daryl Morey maybe takes the future and makes it the present.
So that's the question out there. And look, this trade just happened. We woke up to it this morning.
Exactly.
I got up at 3:30 and was like, "Whoa, look at this." So we're all just still trying to process it all. My first reaction was because I actually talked to a friend on my way into work today. You didn't get anything that's going to help you right now. And that was my point at the beginning of the show. There's nothing right now that helps you. But are you okay with that, knowing that all these assets that you did obtain, or is that good enough to say this is a good trade?
We can't
it's
say
hard. We know because you have to.
Right.
Yeah, we have to be relying on someone to make these trades or to make a trade or signing.
My worry is this. Mike from Delran felt the same way about James Harden that I did from the day he arrived. Is that I know who this guy is. Why are people surprised? This is what he does. But more importantly, Daryl Morey knew who he was 1,000,000 times better than I did. And Daryl Morey mortgaged the future to get him. And then James Harden did what James Harden does. So I don't know that I trust Daryl Morey. I'm flat out. I don't know if I trust him because I have a feeling, Pat, he may be like at the blackjack table where somebody else says, here's $200, play. And maybe you bet differently. You get more aggressive because it's not your money.
Yeah.
You're just like, look, I think Daryl Morey's going to have a short-termer's view of what to do with these assets, and that scares the crap out of me too.
I mean, it depends what he does with it. If he does end up flipping them, is Daryl Morey going to be here in 2028 to make that decision on what to do with an unprotected pick? It's interesting. I didn't think about them using any of the assets to get somebody else, but it's possible. I guess to answer Bob's question, it depends where this other first-round pick's coming from. What year the first-round pick is for, what team.
There's talk that it could be Oklahoma City. There is speculation
Right.
that Oklahoma City has one of those picks.
Yeah,
it's a pick that might come from Oklahoma
They're an
City.
up-and-coming team.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. They're building, right.
Yeah, it would have been one thing if you told me it was Houston or San Antonio. I mean, Oklahoma City, yeah, they're okay, awesome. That pick will be the 23rd overall pick.
May I ask you a question, though, based on your window statement earlier, your Window Nation window of opportunity?
Yes.
Which you say shut.
Yeah.
So the process is over, officially.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I like that. Pat's always honest. Pat is always honest.
So-
I like that answer. The process is freaking
Well,
over.
I would have said the process probably stopped when you used up all your assets to get James Harden.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, other people will say, well,
But
you
if
just
it
use
didn't
Harden to
cost
get more assets. But, we're kicking the can down the road. I would say it's over because the window's shut.
But
I
if
think
it
when the
brought you a
window's shut, it's over.
championship with Harden, then, right, it would have been worth it?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Then
no
it would have
question.
paid off.
Yeah, parades are cool.
Pat Egan, that's quote of the day. Parades
Yeah,
are cool.
put that on a T-shirt.
Hey, Alex in Bryn Mawr checks in. Alex, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Hey, good morning. The first thing I wanted to say is, I'm mid-30s, so in my lifetime, I remember when nobody ever wanted to come to the Sixers. Every time a big star became available, they would even say, like, I don't want to go to Philly. But in the past, 5 years, you had Durant said we was on his list. Kyrie said we was on his list. We actually got Harden here, and LeBron even faked like he took a meeting in Philly. I've never seen that until 5 years ago. So it seems like people want to come here, and I believe in Maxi. If Maxi could keep average 26 to 28, we probably could just be cool with 2 stars. Oubre getting us 20, and I think we're going to use those assets to get somebody else. Anyway.
Don't you need a point guard, Alex?
You said a point guard?
You need one, or you really think is that Maxi's role?
I want to see what Maxi do. I don't want to come here and continue to stun his growth. We might have to try it this year with Maxi. We might still only make it to the second round this year, but we might use those assets to get somebody else. I'll definitely see Morey using those assets to get somebody else.
Yeah, I go with Alex, Bob. I don't see Daryl Morey saying, "Oh yeah, well, I'm making moves. They're going to help this franchise 2 and 3 years down the road." He's not even under contract that long. He's gonna be seeing the door. He's gonna roll the dice here because he's got Joel Embiid who hasn't asked out, and he's got Tyrese Maxey. I got to think he's rolling the dice, looking for something.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a 30-year-old star in Joel Embiid, I mean, how much time do you have? How much dice can you roll for down the line?
Right.
I don't know about that. It's the here and now. It has to be. I don't know if Daryl Morey, if he's like other GMs that I've spoken with through the years, you're always looking to get the team better now. It's a rarity. Sam Hinkie is a rarity that you have that luxury of saying, oh, yeah, no, we're fine. I'm not even looking at years. We're just going to get assets and all that stuff. I believe Daryl Morey has gotten the assets to work the here and now, not the down the road thing.
All right, we got the phones open for you at 610-632-0975. And we're asking you, are you glad James Harden's gone? And that's a different question than are you glad with what they got for James Harden? Bob's been breaking that down for us. You have a chance to get in. 610-632-0975. It's the John Kincade Show here on 97.5, The Fanatic. The temperatures are dropping, in case you haven't noticed. So that means your furnace is going to have to work harder. And those windows in your house, they're not keeping you warm inside. And Window Nation wants to help you out with 0% financing.
Media Group Station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
James Harden's traded. The fan base reacts. It's been a wild start to this Halloween morning. None of us were expecting this today. It's Dallas week. We were expecting to be getting knee-deep into the Eagles and the Cowboys, and we will have some of that coverage coming up with you in the course of the day today. But we've opened up the phone lines for you at 610-632-0975. Are you glad James Harden's gone is question one. And it is a question about what they got in return. But, Bob, one of the questions I would have is the idea of this, is that you've got a guy who says, I do not want to play for you. And you have one team in the NBA that actually has any interest in this guy. I don't know how we could expect Daryl Morey to do better than he did. Because they had all the leverage. They had all the hand in this situation. And you have a guy who says, I do not want to play for you, and I'm going to play games and mess around with you and show up for the opening plane and do things that are, disruptive. Ramona Shelburne, he plans to be disruptive. He plans to do things that are going to force his hand. I don't know how. I don't know if I can critique Daryl on what he got when he had one suitor, and yet a guy who said, I don't want to play here, and I'm going to be disruptive.
Well, keep in mind, so not to cut Bob off.
No, that's right.
It was directed at Bob. Keep in mind, at one point, the report was Dame Lillard is only going to play for the Heat. He's not suiting up for anybody except the Heat. The only team he'll ever play for, the Heat. I swear I saw him game one in Milwaukee, but I might be wrong.
No, but he also, though, wasn't going to be disruptive to the Portland Trailblazers.
I guess my
different
my point. No, it's not, because the report is the report until it actually happens. And we haven't seen James Harden in the building being disruptive. We saw him try to show up on a plane. So maybe that was disruptive in the sense of it was supposed to leave at 5:10 and it left at 5:12.
I don't know.
Yeah, the best parts of this trade, if there is, are yet to come, obviously. I mean, you loaded up on assets. And for those just joining, because this trade did go down, so, John, I'm going to keep repeating what the trade was because, people will keep jumping in. The Sixers got rid of Harden to go to the Clippers, as well as P.J. Tucker and Philip Petrusev. They also waived Danny Green. So Danny Green is gone. So you got rid of a lot of 30-plus-year-olds there. Probably averaged about 35 years old. Anyway, you got back a Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, K.J. Martin, a 2028 first-round pick from the Clippers, 2 second-round picks. You swapped 2029 picks and a first-round pick from another team yet to be determined.
Which we don't know yet.
So, yeah. So, for the time being, as we opened the show, we were saying, for the time being, what does this mean? Not a lot. Those names that I read off that the Sixers are getting back, can't really see them helping this team all that much. I think the team that you've had on the floor the first 3 games of the season is the team you're going to see for the near future. What this does say is that Daryl Morey accumulated a bunch of assets, got rid of some money. He's going to be able to sign a big player probably next year. He's going to have the ability to make a trade maybe this year. So that's where this trade is going to be judged in the future. As for right now, it's status quo for this basketball team moving forward on the basketball court.
Hey, let's find out what Brian in Drexel Hill has to say. Brian, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning. So I agree with Bob that, I don't know if I'm happy yet to see what he does with it. What I would love to see, because every year we go through this, because we never had, we're starting to get more wings, but we never had, a taller shooting guard. And every time we play the Celtics, we go into the same thing with Jaylen Brown, because he's taller than both of our guards, and he'll, cook us a lot of times because there's nobody that has the height to stop him. I would love to see this pick. The Bulls look like they're kind of going down the toilet. Not really sure why, because they have a lot of pieces, but I think there's some coaching stuff going on, too. They had a players-only meeting and all this. But if they can get Zach LaVine, he just dropped 50 points. He's taller.
Why would they get rid of? Why would they want to get rid of him? Why would they want to get rid of Zach LaVine? They have painted
a lot of speculation.
He's painted on the sides of buildings. They literally in Chicago.
So was Matisse Thybulle at one point.
Was he really? No, I'm talking about the team has him painted on the side of a building. I don't know that that's the guy who just dropped 50 that you're saying, yeah, we want to get rid of him?
Is it acrylic paint or is it that easy to chip
Well,
It's
off?
that shiny. It's very shiny.
Yeah, assets say a lot. Where's Chicago
Thanks,
going?
Ron.
Yeah, Zach LaVine and nice players, absolutely. Where's Chicago going right now? Are they looking to the future to say, yeah, he's a great player, but are we winning championships with him? Should we look to the future? So, yeah, you want to. If you're Daryl Morey with all these assets, you're knocking on the door. You're making phone calls. Absolutely, yeah. And Zach LaVine's name has come up a lot as far as trade
I've heard
rumors.
it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And they never move on him. And then
They haven't. Yeah.
They're showing the L. They're showing like the elevated trains, and they have they're marketing him. Come on,
Well,
sort of
who
like the
else- who-
Sixers do. Sort of like the Sixers
You
do.
have to market
Maxi and
somebody.
Yeah,
Embiid.
exactly. You had to market somebody. And at one point, I got a nice pamphlet to renew season tickets. It said "Welcome to the Moment" with Michael Carter Williams, and he was traded like a week ago.
I think it's a little different with Levine, who has a little bit more as far as buy-in. If you're talking about, he's probably the most popular jersey, correct? He's the guy who's the most marketable guy.
I bet you a Michael Jordan jersey is probably still the most popular jersey in Chicago.
That's not good. That's not good when the throwbacks are the best you got. Let's hope we're not heading there. Hey, Vernon in Philly's going to share his thoughts. Vernon, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning, guys.
What's up, buddy?
One, yes, I'm glad Harden going. I wish we could run the tape back when I said when he first got him that we shouldn't have never got him because his record shows that's who he is. That's number one. Number two, the fact that, here's the thing. Giannis in Milwaukee, what did they went out and do? They went out and got him some help right away. What did the Lakers do? They went out and got LeBron some help right away. Here we are sitting there talking about, well, we got assets for Embiid down the line. If I'm Embiid, I'm trying to get out of there. I don't have time to be waiting down the line. You promised me to be getting me some help to do things you know what I'm saying, as I'm playing, not down the line. So I don't care about what we getting down the line.
All right, well, Vern, real quick, not to interrupt you, I apologize. But don't look at the 2028 first-round pick as down the line. Look at it as something that they could use right away to get somebody. I think a lot of these assets that Daryl Morey accumulated is more towards the now to try to get somebody with Embiid. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'll give you that, Bob. So here's the thing, though, right? We went through the same situation with holding on to somebody that we should have got rid of beforehand with Ben Simmons. This is the same. This is the Ben Simmons 2.0 situation on how this franchise has done us. And here's the thing about people wanting to come here. It's about this about the organization on how they operate. Nobody wants to come here.
Really? So you think it's about the organization? It's not at all about the fact that they're saying I'm lining up with Joel Embiid. You think Joel Embiid? They all want to play with him, but they don't want to come here because of the Sixers. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second.
Jimmy Butler was saying that when he left out.
He didn't like the coach. He didn't like the coach. That coach is gone.
And the organization, too. He mentioned about the organization, how they running things, how he said that it was above the coach about how they was babying Simmons and Embiid.
Well, there you go. I mean, and they're still doing that, by the way.
I don't know. I talked to players around the league when I was covering it, and anytime I mentioned Joel Embiid's name, it was smiles abound, and everybody saying what a good dude he is. I can't speak for players outside saying they don't want to come to Philadelphia. I got to tell you, maybe I've been grinded down into a non-feeling person, but money talks and BS walks. I mean, if you're a player and you're getting max money in Philadelphia or Timbuktu, you're going to go there. I really don't think the city of Philadelphia now maybe the Sixers organization and the way it's run, maybe that has something to do, but I don't know. You pay me my money. Here I come. Love you. Thank you.
There are guys that, Bob, I think are really nice in our business that I really enjoy talking to, saying hello to, but on Monday through Friday, I wouldn't want to work with them. And I just wonder, Joel Embiid should be the best recruiter for this franchise. And it hasn't panned out. And the guy that he wanted here just doesn't, it hasn't worked out again. But I blame James Harden. I'm not blaming Joel Embiid. Hey, JD in Germantown joins us. JD, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, buddy.
All right. So full disclosure, I was a processor. All right. I loved it. I loved
Rest
everything
in
about
peace.
it.
Rest in peace
Okay,
to that
so-
term.
All right.
That's all right.
So this, I'm gonna try to walk y'all off the ledge for a second, right? And this is why I love this trade. Okay. So the last time, in my opinion, the last opportunity the Sixers had with this whole process thing, trying to tank and everything, was the year that they let Elton Brand and Brett Brown run the off season. That was the last time you had money. That's the last time you had picks, and they blew it. They bet their chips in on Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. It didn't work out, right? So you had to, Morey came in with that mess. And if you ask me, with the Al Horford contract and everything, he did the best that he could. And we lost those draft picks when we traded for Ben Simmons. The way I look at this is a do-over. This is a mulligan, right? Because now you got Tobias Harris coming off the books. You traded, Simmons and got the assets back, but now you got those assets. You got the 2 first-round picks that you gave up to get Ben Simmons. You got that back.
But how do you want them to be used, JD?
Okay, and this is the thing, right? You wait and see, because this is the NBA. Y'all all been watching it longer than I have, right? You wait and see. There's always somebody that's gonna have a problem. It just you can set it to the sun coming up. These stars run the league, and people get pissed. They get upset. I don't want to be here. So you wait it out, and you see. And just in case somebody doesn't want to, you got the off season, and like you said, you got the max money. And then on top of it now, everybody hated Doc Rivers. You got a coach that develops players. Who's to say that, all these years we've been doing it, what have we haven't had? We haven't had depth. We haven't had a bench. So now it's like a prove a year. Let's see who can stick around.
Okay.
Get some players.
Good,
right?
JD. Good perspective there.
Good positive look. And
that is a positive spin on it.
Yeah, they did. They got a lot of assets. And if we know anything about basketball or the business of basketball over the last 12, 10 years, whatever, concerning, the process, it's assets. That's been one of the key words. So let's see how it plays out. Daryl Morey, look, you got assets. Here you go. What are you going to do? I don't think they're looking to the future, like down the road. I think they're looking right here and now. What are you going to do? What are you telling Joel Embiid right now? That's key. Like, all right, I got all these things. Don't worry, big man. We're going to make it work for you.
We are trying. I have a feeling it must be. We are going to try to get you somebody now or this year. We're making it. Look, trust us. We are going to try to take these assets. James blew us up, and now we're going to take those assets and we're going to get you somebody. I don't believe this is a long-term view. I do believe Daryl Morey, by his history, will go and we'll find a way to flip these assets. Hey, 7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the all-new Bet Parks app. Sportsbook and casino in one sleek, easy-to-use app in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Tasty Cake Dom's with us. Dom, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, the last caller, John. It's not a do-over anymore because Joel Embiid's not 24 years old anymore with these assets around him. He's 30.
Yeah.
Time's running out.
I got you. I mean, I get the time is running out. The time's running out big time, but I do understand that they do have a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of money coming off. And
yeah. I mean, just at my basketball mind, to give 20 and 10 away for a bag of peanuts, that's hard for my basketball mind to process. But John, coming back, like if when you first came back, if
yes.
they told you that you would have to accept as a sports fan in Philadelphia that your leadoff hitter can't hit 200, that your head coach on a 7-1 team goes for it on 4th and 4, and that you trade away a point guard that's 20 and 10 for nothing, that's hard to accept, right?
Dom, I got to tell you, I think I've stepped home and it's been absolutely beautiful. I mean, the Phillies are relevant again on the national stage. The Eagles are spectacular with a new coach Doug Peterson got fired on my first day home. I think things have been pretty damn good. I got to tell you, I'm serious about that. I don't look at this as a dark time in Philly. Pat, you're always a good arbiter of this as far as whether I don't look at this as a dark time. Would I rather see the Phillies lose at Halloween or the week before Halloween or see them lose in September? Give me Halloween every time.
Oh, absolutely. No, I lived through the 2015, 2016.
You have the jerseys to prove it.
I do. That Ben Revere jersey is nice and pressed. It's not fun losing the way that the Phillies did. I'm still going through it, but give me that over the teams done by May.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, the 2014, 15, 16, like that was probably the worst time to be doing Philadelphia sports radio in terms of all the teams sucked. And including the Eagles, by the way, they weren't very good either.
I remember talking to guys that were here about, well, what are you doing? It's like bathing in misery. They would be but the thing is, they said it was a communal, venting.
It was
everybody.
It was a kind of a group, like a group therapy session. Yeah, but it did, because you're looking at it like, look, well, it sucks now, but in 2020 it'll be good, in 2021, and well, at least the teams are getting, the Phillies have the first overall pick, and you're breaking down the swing of a 17-year-old. It's just like, it wasn't a fun time. Now at least, and I woke up today and I said to open the show, like, I think the window's closed for the Sixers, and I appreciate everyone trying to be positive with it, but like, the Phillies are still a really, really good baseball team. Flyers are playing decent hockey, if you're a hockey fan.
Sure.
And the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. They have the best record, so it's not all that bad.
No, I don't see the world the way Dom does on that. I look at right now. I'm really happy as a Philly sports fan in a lot of ways. I'm very happy. I'm thrilled with the Eagles.
It was a subject we had last week. I don't know if it was the day you were off or not. Where do you stand as a Philly sports fan? The frustration can overtake you because you've been so close. Lost a Super Bowl, lost in a Game 7, lost in the World Series, and then in a series before the World Series. Or you can look at it like, oh, how close are we? So there's different ways like that. This trade is kind of similar. Where are you now as to where you're going to be in the future? Now, this trade didn't do anything for this team now, right this very minute now. No. You're going to have a new starter in the starting lineup because you got rid of P.J. Tucker. Who's that going to be? That's a talking point. But this trade was made for the future, and it's incumbent upon Daryl Morey.
What future do you mean, though? Do you mean, like, could it be a 1-month future, a 3-month future?
It could be both. It could be an end of the season. It could be a next season future, but it can't be longer than that. Not when Joel Embiid is pushing 30 years old. Not when you've gone through this for so long. This can't be a look down the road type of thing for, people. And that's fine. They just heard about the trade saying, 2028 first-round pick of the Clippers is going to be good. It's only good for trade assets. It has nothing to do with this team now. You can't look at 2028 and say, that might be a good, but no, that's going to be traded. You have to, it's incumbent upon Daryl Morey to use everything he got in this trade to make this team a front runner as long as Joel Embiid is here.
So you're saying to me what you always say to me. Stop looking down the road too far. Don't look down too far. Look more immediate with what you're saying.
Right?
I think so too.
I just do. I think you have to with Joel Embiid. I don't think, it can't be a 3-4 year process because, as we've talked about, is he going to want to be here that long?
No.
I don't know.
I don't believe he would.
You can't sell Joel Embiid on, a couple years down the road, we're going to be fine. No, he needs the here and now.
Let's find out what Woj was on SportsCenter. Adrian Wojnarowski has appeared on SportsCenter in the last few moments. His first thing that he's going to fill you on, and these are a little bit long form, so just hang with them, are his initial thoughts on the Harden deal getting done.
The Sixers and Clippers started to talk again over the weekend, I'm told, and then started to really get traction yesterday. And the conversations went deep into the night. It was about 2 a.m. When they started to inform the players that they had been traded. They were in the deal. Philadelphia simply, they did not want to risk trying to reincorporate James Harden into this group, knowing that he just was not going to be invested. They've gotten off to a good start. You have seen Tyrese Maxey, taking another step in his career. The league's player of the week in the East, 30 points a game. And ultimately, I think the Sixers, knowing that the best offer from the Clippers was probably going to be now, and not once we started to see more weeks peeled off the calendar. And the Clippers, they wanted to do this deal without including Terrence Mann. They did that. They wanted to not have to include 2 of their own first-round picks. They're going to give that 28 unprotected to the Sixers, and then they're going to reroute another first-round pick from a third team that's being finalized overnight into this morning. So the Sixers get 2 firsts, 2 second-round picks, and a pick swap in this deal for James Harden.
So that's the first on it. A little bit long form there, you get it. But again, it's one of those things where it's clear, and Woj reiterates it. This is a guy who did not want to be here and did not want to play for the Sixers. I don't want that guy around, Bob. I can't have that guy around my franchise.
I have heard you say that, and there's a lot of people that agree with you, and I understand it absolutely. The thing is, what makes your team better? My first reaction when I see a trade is, okay, what happens to the here and now? How's this team better? I have nothing there. I have nothing to grab onto on that. It doesn't make the team better. They didn't get anything of players that are really going to help you. So I can't say the team's gotten better when, as a caller said earlier, you did get rid of a guy that's a 20-10 guy, the only one in the league last year. That all being said, the basketball spot of it, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait for the get-backs of what this trade is all about. And that might frustrate people. That might be fine with people. The only people that matter are Joel Embiid and company. And are they okay with this?
Hey, we'll have lots more of your calls at 610-632-0975. Are you glad Harden's gone? That's one question. But then, how much do you trust, too, that Daryl Morey is going to do something in the here and now to make the 2023-2024 Sixers a better team? We'll get to that coming up. You hang out with us. Plus, you're going to hear from Adrian Wojnarowski, where he says, what do the Sixers do next? This is going to intrigue you. John Kincade Show, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, here's what you got to do. Imagine if you're sitting in your favorite casino, right? You're not doing well. The money is flying away from you.
Philadelphia.
Bob's joking this morning.
I don't know if it's allergy. I don't know what I got.
I hope
going
it's
on.
allergy. I think it is.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I think
feel
it's
great.
allergies. You do. You're lively. You're feisty. You feel great. A Harden trade goes down. Who would you want to hear from before you hear from Cooney? Seriously. John Kincade Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Thanks for being with us.
Is that an open-ended question you want a list?
You just made fun of my haircut, so I'm not talking.
Yeah, I did.
Let me see your haircut. Okay.
So he comes in and he goes,
Messed up because I have a hat on.
yeah,
but-
he takes his hat off. He goes, "What do you think of my haircut?" I go, "It's terrible."
Wait. I can't hear you. I took my headphones off.
It
What did you
looks
say?
good.
He comes in, he takes his hat off. He goes, "Oh, what do you think of my haircut?" I go, "It looks horrible."
He said it's all patch. I said, dude, stop. So now I'm mad at. I am mad at you. I am. Like, I would never make fun of your dopey hair.
Won't be the first time.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where Michael said to me the other day, my style at Sal's Barbershop, fine client of the Fanatic.
Yeah, they cut my hair.
Michael Coletti is just absolutely amazing, and I'm at the point where they are saying, do not touch my hair.
Dude, you haven't lost any of your hair. It looks
look good.
It's good, and it's the thing is, if it goes long, when it gets longer and heavier, the follicles loose. You can lose it. Like I can lose it on the pillow. I can lose it on this. He's like, do not touch it. Do not touch it the rest of the way. So I'm hoping that if everything goes well here in the last 17 days, I'll have real hair by Christmas and look like Pat Egan again.
Yeah, I think if you let it grow out, you'll be good to go.
I think it will work. Hopefully everything goes well, which is good. A lot of this Sixers trade stuff has been wild this morning. Here's Adrian Wojnarowski telling you what could be next for the Sixers.
The Sixers believe they got back enough draft assets to be able to go out at some point this year and get a player to replace James Harden. It's probably not going to be early in the season. You know, those kind of players don't become available this early. But at some point now, they feel like they've got a package that would be comparable to what the Celtics gave up for Drew Holiday, another player that the Sixers tried to get involved with, didn't have the picks to get done. They believe now they would have the picks to get a similar type deal done. Philadelphia did not take any future money back, so they have max cap space potentially this summer. And so their hope is they can improve this team again at some point this season for the stretch run in the playoffs, and then they can go big game hunting around Joel Embiid in free agency. So I think twofold, the Sixers believe, that they got what they wanted out of this trade for Harden, and that the timing was right to move on from a player now who's been traded 4 times, the first former MVP to be moved that many times in the league.
All right, long form answer there, but I think it's clear from Woj. He says, talking to the Sixers, people around the Sixers, don't expect it to be soon, but this year. So it's a move for this year. So these assets allow them to go big game hunting when the year goes along.
Yeah, like Daryl Morey or not, or however you want to put it, there's been a lot of stuff going back and forth. He took on a Marcus Morris, a Robert Covington, and Nick Batum, all with expiring contracts. You got rid of a P.J. Tucker, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking it up now. If I'm not mistaken, still has another year.
Yeah, it's another year. It's 3 years at $10 million.
$10 million, right? Yeah. You have a lot. As Woj said, the biggest part of all of this is there's a player option for Tucker for next year. Okay. The biggest part of all this is you took on no money. That's absolutely great. Like, the more we talk this out, Daryl Morey might come out with a pretty good grade of all this once we all digest it, review it, and dissect it.
Well, then I want Pat to revisit. Pat, initial thoughts that you had, that you shared with us earlier. Now, when you hear this, as far as the Woj, by the way, beat Shams by an hour on this.
Yeah.
He was all over this. When he says this move was made for this year, they're going to go get something this year with these assets. Does that change your initial thought on, this looks ugly?
No.
Not at all, really?
No, not really. No. Cool, I guess, depending on who they go get. It's the great unknown. But Not particularly. I still think the window is probably shut. And it goes back to what you talked about, John, of Daryl Morey is a guy that doesn't rebuild teams. He uses assets to build up a team, and he empties out the war chest. And he got a couple of assets back, and it does make sense of why you would go out and acquire somebody. But I don't know who's on the open market. And we had a caller earlier say, well, you just wait it out. Like, there's problems in the NBA all the time. Some problem will arise. And my first thought was, yeah, what if the problem's here? Like, what if it's Joel Embiid? Joel Embiid waking up today probably found out about the trade, and he's got to be thinking a certain way.
I hope he was called.
He might not know about it yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he might be a deep sleeper. We don't know. He might have had his phone on Do Not Disturb.
If he finds out about this trade, Bob, if he finds out about this trade from Woj or Shams or a tweet, that's a disaster to me. He's your centerpiece. You can't.
Well, I'm sure he knows that they were looking to get rid of Harden.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so I'm sure he knows all of that. Does it need to be a phone call made at 2 a.m.?
I would think.
No, I don't think so.
No. You think he's fine if he finds out from ESPN?
Think about our place here. What if one of the higher ups decided to get rid of somebody in the middle of the night? Do they need to let us know in the middle of the night? I mean, it is a job. It is a business, first and foremost.
I would just like to know.
He does have a 2 or 3 year old child.
They'll find out before we do.
I would just like to know.
He does have a 2 or 3 year old child. I mean, you have to take the humanity part in with it. I want my players to sleep. I want my players fully healthy.
You're the Chip Kelly of sports radio.
You might send him a text and say, hey, just want you to know we made a trade. Let me know when you want to talk. I'm here all the time. But it could be he could wake up and turn on the TV before he turns on his phone and go, whoa, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah, there's a chance.
Or the Fanatic. He could turn on the Fanatic.
I think the big thing is, did they attempt to reach out? Because we do hear everyone, so like the famous Mo Cheeks thing of
finding out his driveway.
That was 40 years ago. But but at times, like, players find out via the news and not the actual team. But
or spouses.
I think Ricky
found out.
Was on a boat one time and found out.
Yeah, when he found out he got traded from the Phillies to the Cardinals. So no, and I'm sure the Sixers have reached out and gotten a hold of him by now. But still, like, whether they reached out or not, what if the problem does arise when Joel Embiid looks around and goes,
yeah, Embiid may be the one.
Yeah, I'm not winning with this group. I'm just not. And as our buddy Dom pointed out, like, time's kind of ticking.
Yeah, the thing is,
not young.
Dom was way too negative on it, though. And I love Dom, but he's way too negative on it.
He's allowed to
because
feel
there's a ton of assets. No, I mean, I think from Woj's standpoint here on that story, he was positive on what they got as far as the assets that now they can flip.
Look, it's
for a guy who didn't want to play here.
Right. So Dom and I are kind of in the same boat. My first reaction was, okay, what's the here and now? The here and now is nothing.
Right.
So, that's Dom's first reaction. Sometimes it has to settle in a little bit and say, like, okay, yeah, all right, maybe this is better for the future. I don't know why I think of the here and now on the basketball court. What is it? And right now it's not much of anything. But, yeah, when you have a chance to dissect it, to sit back, Dom's probably been up as long as we have, then maybe is when it comes into play of, oh, okay, all right, I see what maybe they're trying to do here.
Let's see what Isaiah has to say. Isaiah, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good. All right, buddy. What do you got?
So I think that the players that they got back will actually keep them heads above water until Morey makes another big move to really help this team.
Who?
With Marcus Morris, probably like I wouldn't say DeMar DeRozan, but
no. You said the players that they got now will help them keep their heads above water.
Who's that?
Yeah, who?
Marcus Morris.
He hasn't played yet this year.
Oh, he would be a good stretch forward that could move. He moves around more than P.J. Tucker does. He just doesn't stand in the corner.
But does he play defense like P.J. Tucker, which was his role on this team?
Well, that's what you got Nicholas Batum for.
He's gone. You traded him.
Nicholas Batum?
Batum. Didn't he go in the deal? I thought
Sixers got him.
Oh, Sixers got him in the deal. There's so many names in this deal.
Yeah.
But that's not.
Yeah, Nick Batum. Isaiah. I just don't see anybody, Isaiah, that they got that's really going to help them right now. I think the team that you have is moving forward is just where you're going to go. I don't see a 35-year-old, soon-to-be 30s or soon-to-be 35 Nick Batum coming in here and really doing much of anything. He was a nice, versatile player back in the day. When he was with Charlotte, I liked him. I'm talking 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago,
liked
right?
him then. I liked one of the Morris brothers to be here 5 or 6 years ago. I just don't really see anybody, coming in here now and helping this team of these guys that you're talking about.
Hey, Brian in Wallingford joins us. Brian, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
John,
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for taking my call.
No problem, Brian.
First of all, I hope you're well. Cancer sucks. I donated
Thank you,
to
buddy.
AACR. I lost my dad that way. Pat, I'm wearing a T-shirt I got from you at a giveaway at BJ's.
Wow, that's good.
Awesome.
We love that.
Hey, good talking to you, Brian.
Well,
We
it was
appreciate
a
it, Brian.
bingo
Thank
day.
you.
Anyway, it's hard for me waking up to know what to make of this. NBA trades, John, Bob, help me.
Yeah,
It seems so complex.
they are complex, and they're for the future, or are they for the immediate future or the later future? Woj sort of indicates this was a move made for this year, for Daryl Morey to go and do something this year.
So, John, Bob, can I challenge you guys for the next 2.5 hours that I'm listening? Like, how does the average person make sense of it?
Yeah, well, that's what we're counting on, Bob. That's your
Well, we're all-
responsibility. It's in your contract.
We're all average people. There's different ways to look at it. Are you happy they got rid of Harden? Okay, good. Nothing wrong with that. Did you make your basketball team better with this trade? Not right now. There's not going to be much change, I don't think, on the floor, on the basketball court right now with what you did. Are you looking for a sunny future? You picked up a lot of assets. You picked up a lot of money. So, yeah, there it is. Is it going to happen this year? Are they going to make a big trade this year? Maybe. Is it going to be next year, free agent signing in the offseason? I'm about to look up the free agents. We'll see. I mean, for a city that has been spoon-fed assets for 10 years, well, you just got another helping of it.
More assets.
Yeah.
Hey, Dante in the Northeast joins us. Dante, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning, boys. How you feeling?
Well, it depends.
Good, Dante.
It's up and down with this trade, I got to tell you.
I mean, okay, John, my primary call is for you, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
You didn't get any better. You didn't get any worse. The trade is a whatever trade.
Sure.
You got 4 players in return. 3 of them are probably going to be waived.
You think they're going to waive all 3 of the 4?
What can those 3? So out of KJ Martin, what 3 players? What can you do with Batum, Morris, and Covington?
I just heard that Batum may be somebody that they're counting on. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean,
another 34-year-old guy you want to bring in to an already older team.
I don't think.
I mean,
look,
I
it's
don't like
temporary.
it.
But Dante, it's temporary. This is
It is.
temporary
It
because
is.
you've heard from Woj.
It
The
is.
assets that have been required are to do something this year, and he was pretty definitive on it. And he said he's talking to people around the Sixers.
So I didn't get to listen to the Woj comments, right? But these are just my thoughts on it. Okay, like Pat said earlier, I don't know what it is with this organization. You look at the other, you look at the Eagles and the Phillies. I don't watch much hockey, so I can't speak for them.
Okay.
You don't have a problem bringing in top level free agent talent. You don't have a problem with it. So why is it with the Sixers, outside of trades, you can't bring in top level free agent talent off the market? And like Bob said, when he asks his other players about Joel Embiid, they speak glowingly. They love the guy. He's an MVP talent, top 5 player in the league, whatever it is. So what is it? Is it the head office? Is it the ownership group? What is it that you can't bring in top level talent?
Could it be that people get to choose who they play with? I mean, Bob, that's what I mean. That's where I'm going with it. People get to choose when you're free to move, or you're a star. You sort of dictate things a little bit. Gentleman asking here, Bobby asking me, if they had made this deal before the Dame trade to Milwaukee, the Sixers would have had assets to get Dame. If they had made this deal, they made this deal in September or August or whatever it was, they would have had the assets to make the Dame trade. And arguably, look at what Dame went for. Could you have said that maybe that the Sixers would have had the better offer to make? And if that's the case, that's terrible.
There's way too many pieces rolling in on that I think to relate it all. I don't know. Of course, you had the Dame stuff that he was only going to Miami and all of that. So,
I mean, they gave up the Blazers for Dame. What they received, they got DeAndre Ayton. They gave up they gave up. They got Drew Holiday. They gave up. The Trailblazers get Drew Holiday. They get a first-round pick. And I'm looking at this going, what did they give up? They gave up like hardly. I mean, other than Dame, they gave up pretty much nothing. I just wonder if that trade could have been made.
Well, and we might say a year from now, wow, good thing they didn't make that Dame trade for a 30-plus-year-old, and you got whoever it may be. You're in a good spot if you're Daryl Morey. You're sitting back, Daryl Morey and Elton Brand, saying, okay, look at all these things we have. Let's look and see what we have going on. The Woj thing about it, it was made for this year. I don't really understand what that meant. Are they going to make a trade in season to go get a star? Are they going to wait till the off season? Are they going to do supplemental things like little things? I don't know. I would be surprised if a huge trade is now made off of these assets they got done in season.
Bobby Marks, ESPN, sharing that all the contracts are expiring. Do not impact cap flexibility for next year, and Philly projects to have between 50 and 65 million in wiggle room next season. That's a ton.
Yeah,
that's a huge window of opportunity. So, Pat, doesn't it crack your window just a little?
No. I don't mean to be the downer, but
you're being honest.
I was the guy that bought into this fake meeting between the Sixers and LeBron, which never seemed to happen. And I bought into.
He never went to Malvern.
No, he never did, and I don't believe they ever even met with him. I bought into the KD stuff, and I've fallen for the trap one too many times to believe that all of a sudden with cap space they're going to get anybody where they don't have to overpay. And that's my fear is now with cap space, they'll get desperate and they will overpay. And we're going to be in a similar situation that we're in now when you've got Sixers fans clamoring to get rid of Tobias Harris because they look at Tobias Harris and go, you had to make that move. You had to overpay for him. Was it his fault? No, but you couldn't leave that free agent market without something. So you overpaid for Tobias Harris. He's your, quote, max guy, and he doesn't really deserve it. And that's what NBA teams do all the time when they do have cap space. When they have cap space and they can't acquire top talent, they end up giving Evan Turner, a boatload of money and Timofey Mozgov a boatload of money because it's like, well, we got it. You got to spend it. And they don't roll it over. And Daryl Morey's proven time and time again that he's not going to roll it over. If they strike out on a top-level guy, they're just going to go out and overpay for something. And this doesn't help me at all.
You leave Evan
Personally.
Turner's name out your mouth.
I'm sure he's a great guy. Did he deserve that contract from the
totally
Portland Trailblazers? No.
So I just got a text from somebody. Hey, what's the trade? I'm hearing all this. So if you don't mind, John, let me give it again. Yeah. So the Sixers got rid of James Harden, P.J. Tucker, and Philip Petrusev. They also waived Danny Green. They got in return Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, K.J. Martin Jr., a 2028 first-round pick from the Clippers, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and a first-round pick from another team yet to be determined.
Speculated by some to be Oklahoma City, which would mean it probably wouldn't be a great pick because they've done nothing but acquire. They have so many picks. They must. I don't know how they keep track of them.
Yeah, try covering a team that's going through the process that was picking up picks every day. It seemed like, Oh my God, that was horrible.
Pat, can I ask you one question that just takes us off this story for 1 second?
No, you cannot.
I can. Jack Collinsworth.
Yeah,
you're not a big fan, right?
Well, I'm not a fan of nepotism.
Right. Ben Verlander. I am so tired of Ben Verlander being on my timeline, my World Series coverage and everything. It's like, do they have what are they going to bring on, brothers of what's it going to be? Aaron Nola's brother going to be on?
Bryce Harper has an older brother.
Is he on? I don't see him.
Let's get him involved.
Let's get him involved. I'm like, I am so tired of Ben Verlander. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they were asking Ben Verlander. Now, you realize he played some baseball.
Yeah, absolutely he did, yeah.
But they're asking, here, Ben Verlander, break down all the pitching and stuff like this on these videos. And I'm like, excuse me. This is like, there aren't ex-players who played in the majors who were real pitchers?
Yeah, well, to defend him a little bit, keep in mind a lot of pitching coaches were mediocre minor leaguers, you know. So
Leo Mazzoni was.
Yeah, I don't remember Caleb Cotham's storied MLB career, and yet here he is, right? So I hear what you're saying though. Like, yeah, I don't need to see the brothers and son. Like the son's really bad. Like Ian Eagles' kid at being like 25 years old getting a play-by-play. He might be very talented.
He is pretty good.
But it doesn't sit right with me.
Did you watch the Rangers go up 2-1 last night at all? I did. I can't
watch it.
I watched half an inning.
I did, for the first time, I watched all of Game 1, less of Game 2, none of Game 3. I was Flyers, football. That was pretty much it. A little bit of everybody loves
Pat, you say you can't.
I can't do it. Yeah.
Okay, so does that make us, the question I just had for a short little question here, does that make us just Phillies fans? Because if you're not watching the championship series, then you're a Phillies fan, not a baseball fan.
Well, for me personally, I usually have trouble one round later.
Oh, okay.
So if the Phillies had hypothetically lost in the wild card round, like I'd probably be diving into the World Series.
Okay,
but watching it, it's the wound's too fresh for me. And you know, if they had just not made the playoffs at all, I'd be like, yeah, all right,
I'll tune in.
Turn it on. But it's just like I'm sitting there going, if they'd only let that damn Gator in the stadium, they'd be
went
playing.
to the Flyers
they'd be
game.
playing tonight. But they didn't. We tried to warn John Brazier. He didn't want to listen.
He didn't listen?
But yeah, I'm like, if I was going to watch, I'm like, I should be watching the Phillies right now, and then I get all sad.
All right, we're asking you the question on the line. Are you glad James Harden's gone? And more importantly, too, what going forward do you think they're going to do? And are you positive or negative on the path forward? I'm glad James Harden's gone, and I'm positive on the path forward, the short-term path forward. You give your thoughts. 610-632-0975. Got a few lines open for you. We'll get to it. Bob and Pat and John, the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. I've got to tell you, the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app, if I had bet on waking up on Halloween morning to a James Harden trade, I didn't have that one on my bingo card. But you know what? All the different options in the BetParx Casino and Sportsbook app keep you involved with local football.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
It's been a wild Halloween morning. James Harden traded while you were sleeping. And now it's the fallout. Are you happy he's gone? Woj tells you the assets that they've received, and man, it is a mouthful. Pat, you can barely fit them in one of your updates. It is crazy that they are for this year. They're for going and making a move, maybe not immediately, but like a trade deadline move. But then Pat brings up the point, what if Joel Embiid's the guy who wants out at that point? It's a crazy morning. It's really crazy. Zito has I retweeted this guy, Zito. He's pretty funny here. He says, Harden and Westbrook back together at the lowest time in their careers is like two people who made a pact to get married if they were still single at 40. It sums it up perfectly. Two guys that just look in the mirror and go, we're great. Why do people not think we're great? We're great. We're awesome players. They were awesome players. They're not now. I can't believe the referendum, though, Bob, still from the NBA on James Harden. Agent Wojnarowski again saying, too, no teams were in on Harden. None. Said he talks to everybody. Said nobody was interested in him. He's a guy who he looks in the mirror and he sees max contract. I deserve a max. I'm that guy. I still got it.
Well, lucky for you, he's not your problem anymore, John. He's gone.
He is.
Yeah.
He's out of here.
Yeah.
But that determines the storyline of what you can get in return for him. You got people saying, yeah, Harden's cooked. The NBA has told you Harden is cooked. Almost every single team except the Clippers said go for it. Then that tells you what can you get for the guy that everybody's telling you is cooked. I mean, is it like when people are criticizing what Morey got? If it's about this year and going and getting a player, if this team on March 15th looks a lot different than it looks today or March 10th or whatever the trade deadline is, I know it seems like it's always very late, then I may be all in on today. I'm just skeptical a bit because Daryl Morey was the guy who told us James Harden was the answer to come in here and do things well, and he misjudged that completely. So that's where I'm at today. Is just wondering where he's at. We'll find out where you're at 610-632-0975. Kareem in Philly joins us. Kareem, good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, buddy.
I have a question. So if I give you a player, a team with maybe a 28-7 guy, a former MVP, and a third player averaging about 15 to 17 points, a double-digit bench player, and an offense that seems to share the ball and move the ball. That's what the Sixers are at this point. Tyrese is approaching about 28-7. You got Joel Embiid. Tobias is a nice third option. You got Kelly Oubre that's been playing well at the bench, and they doing a lot of action and motion. That's not James. James is a dribble the ball, peck and roll, and stand in the corner.
Yes.
What they trying to build, James didn't fit. And once they saw that in the first 2 games, they said, we got to get rid of this guy. You couldn't bring him back on this particular team with this particular coach. So he had to go, and your growth is in Maxi, and maybe you get a few bench pieces or a few more bench points and maybe another trade or something to go down the line. They may actually get in this year.
I asked Bob on Monday. I said to Bob, because I was very entertained watching the Sixers over the weekend. The style of play was intriguing me, Kareem, sort of what you're talking about. And I said to Bob, if they brought Harden back, how does he fit? Like, how does he fit with that, like that offense, Bob? How would he have potentially fit with what he wants to do? Hold on, let Bob speak here.
Yeah, he would have had to buy in, Kareem. Like it would have had to been a case of once you get the ball, you're looking for outlets. It's 2 or 3 dribbles and get rid of the ball. Yeah, the recency bias or I don't want to say, I shouldn't say bias. The recent memory of James Harden is yes, playoff James Harden standing dribble, and guys standing in a corner couldn't have that. There was a part of James Harden last year that ran this team very well, when they were playing really good basketball and he was running and moving and passing. That changed come playoff time. It doesn't matter anymore, though. He's not going to fit in Nick Nurse's offense because he's not here.
And I think it's not just that it changed. I think with a 34, 35-year-old point guard, his legs we've seen that with Chris Paul. A lot of these guys, even Dame, don't be surprised that Dame jump shot gets short. We've seen that in the playoffs. The older point guards start to fade by the end of the year. The Sixers are in a good spot to have a young guy like Maxi that could be leading the team.
Well, Maxi's got to be Kareem, we got to run. Maxi's got to be the happiest guy in the room, Bob, though, because this sets him up. He's waiting to get his big deal, and now he's going to get an additional what? I mean, with not having Harden around, he's getting more shots. You're going to see the MVP get more shots. Hopefully, I think you're going to have to see more spread the offense around, and that's what Nick Nurse is about. So
yeah, it's funny if you look at the assists. If you look among this team so far, Joel Embiid has a lot of assists. He's averaging like 6-7 a game in these first 3 games. Maxi's getting an assist guy, and he's not a true point guard, but it's simply because of the way the offense is run. It's constant movement. It's guys being open an awful lot in a half-court offense. It'll be interesting. Now, I was just looking up the NBA free agents for after this year.
All right.
So it kind of lends to what Woj was talking about. When I said to you, I'm kind of confused what he's saying about this year. They may make a trade. Maybe he has from somebody that they're looking to make a trade, this year in season for a start with some of the assets they have. Kawhi Leonard is your top free agent after this year. And then after that, it's kind of, it's a Pascal Siakam. It's they list Tyrese Maxey as the number 3. It's a Paul George. It's, LeBron.
No, thank you.
It's Harden also. Drew Holiday. It's if the Sixers are going to use all these assets to get a star player, I think Woj is right. It's probably going to be a trade in season this year.
Hey, Damon joins us on the Fanatic. Good morning, Damon.
Hey, good morning, John. Pat, how y'all doing? Bob, how y'all doing, man?
Good, Damon.
So this morning, I'm getting ready for my morning run, and I'm watching 6 ABC, and I catch the scroll, and I'm like, so I had an extra pep in my morning run. I like the trade, John. We got rid of a headache.
Yes.
And what I'm seeing from this team, I'm liking so far. Pat, I wish you could see it open up and soften up a little bit. Here's why I say that. The pieces that we acquired, and they touched upon it, and Bob knows this, the good pieces for the trade deadline, if not now. You have you still have the MVP playing well. You have Maxi up and coming. And then you look at what Nick Nurse has brought to the team, John. I'm liking it. I'm liking it on so many levels. I've separated the Hinkie years and the Colangelo years. I removed myself from that.
I think that's the way that guys like me who are anti-process, I think that's what we need to do, is separate ourselves from bad memories and just look at the present and deal with what you got down. Like Bob keeps saying, the idea of, it's time to move on. Time to move on. He's gone now. And go on with a positive attitude about, I'm gonna trust, at least for this year, that something can potentially get better about this.
Right, and just to piggyback real quick, also, not only just to trust, Nick Nurse, I believe, Bob, you can probably speak to this, I'm sure he has his hands in some of these trades. Give me this guy, or if you get this guy, you can flip him for this guy because I can use him this way. So that's intriguing to me, man. Let's just keep it going, continue to have a great show.
Thank you, Damon.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, man.
I like the positivity out of Damon there. Pat, did Damon move you at all? Did he touch your heart?
Oh, he touched my heart by listening to the show.
Because you're not like
we say some stupid
stuff. You're not the Grinch with the coal when they look in his heart.
No,
it's a lump of coal. You're not.
Maybe.
Do you think you'll feel differently at 1 in the afternoon?
I'm willing to see how it all plays out. I don't really have a choice as a Sixers fan. I have to. But as I sit here today, I guess I don't have any faith in the front office to be able to get somebody in here that excites me. And at the end of the day, does it even matter? Were they going to contend for a championship with James Harden? I thought they were closer, but the East is pretty damn loaded. And who are they going to trade for that gets that person in here to contend with a Boston, with a Miami? New York's up and coming. I mean, still think the Sixers are better than New York, but they still are up against it. And because of that, I still think the window's just closed.
Yeah, look, they didn't become a better basketball team right now, and maybe not for this year with this trade. That's not how you can look at it. Among Morris, Covington, Batum, and Martin, I don't think those guys are coming in here and making you say, yep, there it is.
That's it. We made the move.
So Who is the star player that they're going to target? Who is a star player around the league that a team is going to? You mentioned Zach LaVine. Maybe Chicago does say, you know what, we got to just start getting assets because it's maybe not. But maybe there's somebody else in this league that a team does give up on, or maybe not even that star of a player. Maybe a fit for this team that Nick Nurse and company see to be a real good asset. I don't know. You didn't have the ability to do that before. You do now.
Does this team need a point guard?
It's weird. I heard you say that earlier, and I didn't get a chance to comment. Nick Nurse's offense, it doesn't really appear that way.
This is where I said to you the other day, and I literally came in on Monday to Bob, and I'm like, I'm enjoying watching Nick Nurse's offense. I'm enjoying it looks like it's a more enjoyable, more interesting watch. But I'm not understanding some of the.
Yeah, I was watching.
I need him on a whiteboard or you to explain some of it to me.
That's what I was hoping to go down and do with them today. I'm going to give them a pass today because, I think they're going to be a little bit busy. So I'm going to go down on Thursday and sit with them, hopefully. But, I'm watching the game the other night. At different times, you had DeAnthony Melton bringing the ball up, Tyrese Maxey bringing the ball up, Joel Embiid bringing the ball up, and Tobias Harris bringing the ball up.
We've never seen that.
And
we have not seen any of that.
So it's not, my point being, it's not like that point guard, all right, you got to start the offense, here we go. No, it's an offense that is started as soon as you inbound the ball. So it's a constant moving offense. It doesn't matter who starts it. It's about more who finishes it and how. I just think if you're looking for anybody to add to this team, one of the keys I would have in the back of my mind is he a good passer?
Because that's important.
I mean, all NBA players that you're going to have
passing, by the way, looks interesting with this offense.
He's a really good athlete. I've told people stories endlessly about when I was covering the team, all the things I could see him do. He is a really good passer. He just has to learn to take care of the ball and when a double team is coming, when to get rid of the ball. But he can be a really good passer.
Let's see what Robert has to say. Robert, good morning. Thank you for holding, buddy.
Hey, absolutely, guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you, too.
So I want to say that I really love this trade for the Sixers. I understand that in a vacuum, right, you probably got worse when you're just comparing players. But the fact of the matter is we had absolutely no assets. And I know a lot of people are concentrated on the stars that we could trade for today. You've got the two wings in Toronto, OG and Siakam. You've got the two guys in Chicago, DeRozan and Levine. But I think the one thing everyone needs to keep in mind in today's modern NBA, star players ask out every other Tuesday. And I think there's going to be at least one or two more guys before the deadline that are going to be available.
Do you have a wish list?
Donovan Mitchell did not sign a contract extension this offseason. That's potentially a guy. And then the Pelicans look like they're another middling team this year. And how long can they run back the Zion and Brandon Ingram experiment, right? So there's a lot of different optionality out there. It just depends on how the season progresses.
All right. I like the positivity, Robert. I like the people because I think, honestly, the 6 a.m. hour is different, has been different than the 7 a.m. hour has been as far as, and I really believe, Bob, it's sort of people consuming like what Woj is saying, what the deal is, and going, okay, maybe this is something that's going to be able to help this team out like before St. Patty's Day, before that.
Yeah, you have to fully take it in and all that. You have to see what's what. We did the same thing. Like, look, I was up for 2.5 hours when we started the show, and my first thought was, how does it help the team here and now on the floor? And it doesn't. But in the long run, once you digest it and look at it and all, put it this way: who would you rather beat today, the Clippers or the Sixers? Now, I shouldn't ask you that question because
I wouldn't want him.
Right.
But for this year, you'd rather be the Clippers.
On the floor now, probably the Clippers, yeah. But in the
long term, I'd rather be like this offseason, I don't know what the Clippers are going to have. Like, the Clippers are going all in. They pushed all their chips on the table. The Sixers have Maxi and Embiid. They're attractive. It's just a matter, can they get a date?
Yeah, and then you're probably going to need a date, one more, whatever. Now they have the assets to do it. Yeah. You went from being in a really horrible situation. We just mentioned it yesterday. My God, what Ben Simmons did to you, what Markelle Fultz did to you. Now the James Harden situation. This has been nothing but a bad, and all soap operas are bad. But this one
they are not.
Has been even worse. You got yourself out of it, and you got some assets. So I think you have to look at it that way to say, okay, now the big thing is, what do you do with these assets? Do you do it right?
Wash your mouth out with soap. All soap operas are bad.
Oh, they're
hey,
the stupidest
Pat,
thing in the world.
Pat, I'm going to make you smile.
Wow.
I'm going to make you smile.
Okay. Like smiling?
By 4 o'clock today,
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're getting one or two more assets to the Eagles' chances to win a Super Bowl. It is trade deadline day. I mean, Howie Roseman is going to have to upstage Daryl Morey. Or I don't think you're going to be able to do some wild, huge move. But I would bet right now, if I set the moves at 1.5 players added to this roster via trade, where do you go on this trade deadline day? I'm trying to make you smile.
Yeah, I go under, but I do think he absolutely makes a move. You trade.
Where do you think, at what position?
I never seen he said linebacker. I was kind of surprised about that, but I didn't think the linebackers played all that great on Sunday.
No, they really didn't.
Nakobe Dean was, in the words of many, hard.
Okay, so I'm not, I mean, yeah, I'm not a football expert, but I thought he was flat-footed for most of that game, so I'm glad to hear that I wasn't the only one. But yeah, after Sunday's performance, I would expect linebacker. Before, I thought slot corner made more sense, but I think that the Contavious Street trade was interesting. Like, they trade depth at a defensive tackle spot. I guess they didn't really need it, but they picked up
they got a
6th-round pick.
And hadn't they given up a 6th in the Byard deal?
They did, yeah, I believe so.
So they recoup that,
and I think they still have one. I think they had 3 6. So they gave up one. They got another back. Yeah, it just to me, and I think I tweeted out watch him spin Contavious Street to, some former All-Pro linebacker where we're going to be going. How the hell did that happen? But the price for these guys, for most of the guys that go to there, are going to be very, very cheap. Howie thrives in this kind of market, so I would expect him to make one trade. I don't expect him to make 2. I think it's one deal, and that's about it.
Bob, 1.5.
I take the under also. I agree with Pat. It's funny. I read something yesterday that said edge rusher might be a way that they're going. So any way that they go, it's going to be eye-opening. I think will it be as big as getting rid of James Harden? Probably not, but it'll probably have a bigger response than this Sixers trade. Simply because it is the Eagles, and it is Howie Roseman, and it will be a name. And whether you agree with the position or not, it's going to be eye-opening, I think.
What if one of the biggest players in your franchise's history as far as making a play ends up getting moved today on a trade deadline day? And I'm talking about that at that point.
Derek Barnett?
Yes. He was involved in arguably the biggest play in your franchise's history. And it's weird. Is he could be gone today.
I expect him to be gone today.
I expected him to be gone 2 years ago.
I thought he'd be gone. I thought he'd be gone in this. I thought he was going to get cut before the season. I was wrong.
It was interesting to me that when they traded for Byard, they gave up Terrell Edmonds. You usually feel don't see that very often. It's just kind of in the NFL. It's a player for pick situation, not player for player in picks. But in that situation, it was interesting, and it kind of gave me an insight of how he was thinking. And their cap space, they restructured the Byard deal to give them a little more flexibility in that.
Yes, they get $2.7 million or something.
Yeah,
it's something like that.
Yeah, but it's more flexibility that they can, work a trade out, and then giving up Derek Barnett, who's on the last year of his contract, does make sense. He only played 5 snaps on Sunday. He hasn't done a damn thing this season.
I wouldn't be shocked to see him go, but I'm always going to be appreciative.
You would be shocked to see him go?
No, I mean, I'm going to be shocked to see him go because of the impact. The thing to me, as far as I thought from that point on, that first of all, I liked him coming out of the SEC.
Well, everybody did.
And
I don't know if you know this, but he broke Reggie White's sack record. I never brought that up. Ankle bend.
And that night, Bob, when that play was made, I thought he was like an all-time Eagle. Because so many times when a ball bounces in the NFL, you have guys they don't just fall on it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not shocked if he goes today. I'm more shocked, Bob, and Pat, that he didn't become sort of a legendary figure in the organization.
No, I think he is. But even the Giants had to move on from David Tyree at some point because he was a 6th-round pick. And
he made the same type of play.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. Tyrese took skill. He had a ball fall into his lap.
Hey,
how many times do you see it not work, though?
Yeah, it took skill. Don't downplay it.
The Eagles could have had 2 of the recovered fumbles the other day if they had just fallen on the frickin' ball.
This, by the way, this also opens up more playing time for Nolan Smith.
Yes, it does.
He only had 4 snaps, and
He made an impact
on
at least
so,
3 was known.
If it means opening up a spot for Nolan Smith to get more of those snaps and 4 goes to 9, please, God, do it.
There you go. I like that. See, Pat? I see
I'm
it.
positive about
I see
the Eagles.
No, but I see a glimmer in your eye. Oh, I'm trying to. You're happy for Halloween now. You got a glimmer.
Eagles. Well, first of all, any holiday where I can just walk up to strangers and they'll hand me free candy, and it's not in a van. That's a win. It's a big win.
Yeah, I see that being a win for you.
And at my height, I can just throw on a mask and no one knows.
The free candy van is not a good one.
Not well.
Kids, avoid it tonight.
Depends if it's full size bars.
Oh my gosh.
What's your favorite kind of candy bar to get?
Oh man, Hershey's with almonds probably.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's
I
a
like
great
that.
one.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, big Hershey's with almonds.
I thought you wanted Skittles or something. Oh, it's not a candy bar.
No, it's not a candy bar.
They
Reese's Cups.
Why have they never made Skittles into a bar?
I don't know how they would. I mean, that's
Pat. I mean, come on. We could put guys on the moon.
Wow.
Or we may have.
I mean, that's a question not for me. It's for the Mars Company.
And Bob, I apologize.
I'm not ready to answer.
You
those
should.
Bob,
questions.
I apologize.
You should.
Did you beef?
I did not.
Come on, dude. Grow
I'm sorry.
I said in Pat's here.
Go
I
in
said
the
it.
hallway.
Yeah, I apologize. No, I would
You
never.
apologize.
I do not like to crop dust. That was
Let me
not
just
good.
tell you, you shouldn't bring a gun or a knife to a gunfight.
Exactly.
I'll just say that.
You're in for it now.
Yeah, you could be if I wanted, but I wouldn't.
You're about to get smoked out by the expert.
Hey, Craig in Deptford joins us on the Fanatic. Craig, where do you fall on this deal, and who do you think benefits from it? Craig?
It was before. I remember talking to you guys around this time last year. My point that I made then was we were really comparing the Joker and Embiid's game. That was really the emphasis last year. And I think we're going to have to go back to that. I mean, I think that maybe Nick Nurse's offense allows a little bit more flexibility and freedom. As we talked about, Joker gets the ball, rebound, he brings the ball up. That stops the traditional point guard from wasting time to get to your set. But if you don't get another big name, that offense could be workable if Embiid changes his game slightly.
Now you're breaking up on us there. We get the point there.
Yeah, I was waiting to see what he said there. I think Embiid likes this offense. I think Embiid may shine in this offense. What they have to figure out better is when he's getting double teamed, he's got to be able to see things. And it's been done before. I remember having a conversation with Brett Brown that they were teaching him to catch and face. And, John, you and I talked about this before. Like, when Embiid catches and faces basket and then sees double team coming, he's fine. He can get rid of the ball. He's a good passer. He can see the guy that's open from where the double is coming from. But I think Embiid is fine in this offense. I think I think Maxi is fine in this offense. It's an offense that I'd want to play in. Whether it's sustainable throughout a season or how many times you can truly run it well when you're playing 3-4 times a week, that's what you have to keep an eye out for.
First time we've had open lines in a while. 610-632-0975. The Sixers trade James Harden. And now the question is, are you glad he's gone? And if you're glad he's gone, do you like the return? Some people are glad he's gone and don't like the return. Some people are glad he's gone and they like the return. Where do you fall? 610-632-0975. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, jump into the NBA action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Bob's fanning the door, Pat. That was still the original one, Bob. It's not an extra one. I'm going to say, and I apologize for it. I do not.
Can I come into that studio, Pat, and work for a little bit?
No, not after what you've done to me before.
Yeah, he thinks this is
God,
payback.
This is horrible.
It was a that's nuclear, Bob. That's two
Looking
chemos.
for a dead animal under the desk.
That's two chemos combining.
I'll keep it in your ass.
I'm going to try to do my best to do that. Oh, look, James Harden's been traded. The entire city's reacting to it. Bob, what's the trade one more time? Because we keep
Absolutely. If I can breathe, I'll get through it. All right, Sixers get rid of James Harden, P.J. Tucker, Philip Petrusov, and waive Danny Green. So getting rid of a 34, a 38, and a 36-year-old. What they get is Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, K.J. Martin Jr., a 2028 first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 first pick swap, and then a first round from another team yet to be determined. So you pick up a lot of assets there. I don't think among Morris, Covington, Batum, you're going to see a lot of playing time. I don't know if you'll even see them some of them in a Sixers uniform.
You think some may be waived?
Yeah,
immediately? What are the benefits of waiving them immediately? Well, I mean, roster spots otherwise.
Yeah,
Danny Green's gone.
Yeah, Danny Green they waived.
Yes.
So there it is. As we started the show saying, for the here and now, it doesn't do much for you. This is a long-term thing. Now, I don't mean long-term by the 2028 pick. No, I'm not looking at that. These assets that you picked up, you're going to have to turn that into something to help this team down the road. And down the road means either in the middle of this season or this offseason.
So Covington takes the roster spot of Harden. Who of the other guys takes the roster spot of P.J. Tucker? And who takes the roster spot of thing? So two of the guys have to stay in addition to Covington, right? At least
you got rid of 4 and you got 4. So you can figure out what you want to do if you want to keep them. If you Morris hasn't played a game yet this year.
Yes.
So I will see. We'll see what happens with these guys, but I don't really look at any of them and say that's a difference maker on the floor right now.
610-632-0975. Sean in Levittown joins us on The Fanatic. Hello, Sean.
How you doing, guys?
Good to hear from you this morning. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you too. Glad to hear you're doing well too.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I'm honestly I don't know what to expect as far as the trade is concerned. I mean, obviously, I'm glad to see Harden go because he was a headache for a while. But my expectations as far as the Sixers are concerned, I think I don't know. We go into every year thinking that this could be the year, and then somehow they get bounced in the second round every time. I'm going to wait to see how this pans out as far as, what they do in the midseason or in free agency with these assets they got. I do think that if they made the trade earlier, that they could have gotten Damian.
Yeah, I looked at that Dame deal earlier, and I think they could have also.
Yeah. Or maybe even could have gotten Drew Holiday back.
Right.
But as far as everything else is concerned, I mean, I think I'm leaning more toward going with Pat as far as, I don't know. You
mean the window being closed?
I do think
keep it open a crack. Keep it open just a crack. On a cold winter night, do you ever do that? Do you ever leave just a little? Okay, leave it open a crack. Pat, I'm asking you, could you crack it just a little?
No.
Just a little, just for 3 months.
Air conditioner's still on.
Just for 3 months. Yeah, Pat is
leave it cracked a little bit.
Yeah.
I still have hopes that we could maybe make a run, but I think it all depends on what we do with these assets.
Yeah,
and,
I like I like the positivity that has come about. Thank you for your call.
I think Sean's looking at it the way you kind of have to look at it. This isn't a contending team right now as much as it's been in recent years, right?
No.
I don't think this team has the hopes of this city the way they did last year, the year before, whatever it may be. But now you have something you haven't had much of, and that's assets. And I think that's one of the reasons. I don't know if you can go back. You didn't have a Drew Holiday to trade to try to get a Dame Lillard, and I don't think James Harden and Drew Holiday are equivalent. So I'm not going to dive into that. But you have something you didn't have last night, and that's assets to get this team better. And you didn't have that because James Harden, you didn't. Whether he was going to play here or not, that wasn't your long-term solution. So it's incumbent upon Daryl Morey now to use these assets to make this team viable with Joel Embiid in the mix.
Hey, we'll find out what, my man, Mitch in Warrington's been holding on. Mitch, we appreciate you holding here.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Thank you, buddy.
So I heard you guys talking about Nick Nurse's offense and the way it's run and the passing, right?
Right.
Well, who else is out there that we've had before that's an excellent passer, that's a bit of a prodigal son that we could bring back?
Jarvis Tornado?
Don't even say it. Mitch, you're not going to speak this into existence, please.
Bring Ben Simmons back.
It's like saying Beetlejuice. Don't say it 3 times. We're going to get screwed.
It's Halloween. Let's get crazy. Let's bring Ben Simmons back.
Oh, no. Talk about the
Mitch, you are kidding, right?
You guys are talking it up. Like, his offense is run around. Nobody has, like, a set position. A lot of passing. Who else is better than that?
Well, I got to tell you.
That would sit okay with you if they brought Ben Simmons back?
Come on.
I know it's controversial, but I don't even know if it's trade possible. But
I'd use another word instead of controversial.
And you're not allowed to use it on the air, Mitch. That's interesting. No, I have no interest. I have no interest in going down that road again. But I want to put a smile on Pat's face. I just, like, I got to, because, Pat, you have been somebody who, you're like Jamie level, our buddy Jamie, optimistic about the Sixers. You find silver linings.
Try to.
And it seems as if today, the silver lining's gone. All silver linings are gone.
It's been trending that way for a while. Like, you guys remember when the Sixers lost in the playoffs in Game 7?
It was
terrible.
Despondent.
Oh,
it was terrible.
And it was because there's a 3% chance the window's open, but it's probably closed. And that reality that it was just wasted and being right back to purgatory level, good, not good enough to get over the hump is still real with me. And all the assets people are talking about, I just love to know the name you're bringing in that beats Boston, beats Miami, because I don't know who that guy is. Like, that's the thing. We can sit here and go, oh, it's great. They got assets and they can trade for somebody. They have cap space and they can pay for a free agent. All that. Is it beating Boston?
And
you didn't
Miami?
have that option before.
That's
That's where the optimism, I guess, comes from, right,
okay,
Pat?
so basically,
at least you have the ability to do that
right.
now.
So you want to buy something that's $20. You had no money before. Now you have $5. Cool.
No, I think you have more than $5. I think you have the 20 or maybe even 25.
You have $12.
No, I think you have enough to afford
20 to 25 gets you whatever it is that beats Boston. So you're saying that these assets
might have a chance. You can get a max player.
Remember, you have the space for a max now, Pat.
No, and I'm with you. The last time I heard this was Tobias Harris, so I'm burned by the past.
I hear you on that too.
And Bob, you'll probably say I need to get over that. I do.
No, I didn't say that at all,
but it's
buddy.
like that wound's still fresh. Like, I've been down this road not too long ago, and then 2 years into that contract, every Sixers fan is like, "Oh my God, this is our max guy." Now they made the wrong decision in that because the max player should have been Jimmy Butler, and we all know that. But maybe they do. Maybe they use maybe I'm looking at it too negative, and I go Tobias Harris when I should be looking at it like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, it's like playing in your men's league game. You get if you get a penalty shot, you miss on it.
Happens all the time to me.
So you miss one.
You get penalty shots all the time?
But then you're going to get another one, or you're going to take it.
Well,
no, you don't know if you're going to miss. You don't know unless you try.
I'll probably bench myself.
Like, they have the ability to try now. They're putting the puck down at mid-ice for Pat Egan and saying, go ahead, try it again. Before, you didn't have a puck, you didn't have a stick, you didn't have skates. Now you do. Like, that's where it is right now. They have the ability to do something, whereas before they did not.
Yeah, I guess that's where I need to start coming around to this is I recognize they have the ability to do something. I just don't think that something is still going to be good enough to truly contend for a championship. But look, I mean, they got Jimmy Butler before for a bag of balls. Now, the problem with the Jimmy Butler situation was it's a lot like this James Harden situation where everybody knew that Jimmy Butler wanted out. Right now, And the callers bring it up like, oh, somebody will want out. Like, yeah, probably. But is it going to be this season in season? Because a lot of times I feel like we don't hear a lot about players demanding trades in season in the NBA. Now, there is, ironically enough, it was the James Harden was probably the last one.
Sure.
But for the most part, like, I don't know who's out there that's going to start demanding trades. Is Dame Lillard all of a sudden want to come to Philly after the season with that max contract space? I need to see how it plays out. But right now, as I sit here, having found out about the trade 4 hours ago, yeah, I'm not overly optimistic. Go Birds.
610-632-0975. You are optimistic on Howie.
Yeah.
On trade deadline day, that stuff is coming in. Bob and Pat have already said one player added. I'm going to say two. That there are two positions that are added to today, and I think one player exiting in a trade. That they'll sign one, maybe have to cut somebody, but one player will exit in a trade.
Yeah, they have a roster spot available, right? Because they did get rid of.
They don't though, because Cam Jurgens is going to take that spot, and then they'll elevate. Okay. They will elevate Julio Jones permanently.
Yes.
And then Cam Jurgens is taking the spot.
Okay.
So the spots are taken. So if you do bring in a guy, you probably do have to cut somebody. But because of money, you'd think that if they were bringing in a top level guy, like they did with Bayard, that they probably would have to include another player with a little bit of money attached, and that person probably would be Derek Barnett.
I'm not, by the way, I'm not calling for a major name player, but I do believe they'll get somebody that'll help them out today. I love talking Sixers basketball with Stan from Drexel Hill. Always a great caller. Stan, thanks for holding on, and thanks for being with us this morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's going on, buddy?
I've been seeing a lot of people questioning with the assets and, you couldn't get Terrence Mann, you couldn't get, certain players back and everything like that. And I just don't understand, you can't think of it that way, in my opinion. You have to think about it a little bit more optimistically, and to, what Pat's saying, thinking the window is closed, again, when you have a guy like Joel Embiid, because if you're saying the window's closed, then you might as well just blow it up. You might as well just trade Embiid for everything that you can. And just start from.
Yeah, I said that. I said to do that earlier.
Pat spoke that into existence earlier, and I was pissed off.
That doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense to me because as long as you have a guy like that, when you're puttering around, you say you don't want to be in mediocrity. I think we look at mediocrity different because I think of mediocrity and I think of that Iguodala team with Drew Holiday and Lou Williams. A team that's perennial, 5th, 6th, 7th seed. When you're in the top, you're always giving yourself a chance. And now what you're banking on is it going to be your year? Can you get lucky? Because to win championships, it's not only to be good, you have to be lucky. And lucky could be a guy who wants to play for you. Lucky could be another team, unfortunately, losing a player due to other circumstances. There's so many factors that go in. And just by you quitting and saying, look at Boston, the season is 3 games in. You don't know what the Boston Celtics are going to look like towards the end. You don't know what Milwaukee's going to look like towards the end. They got smoked by Atlanta the other day. Now, that doesn't mean they're a bad team, but you can't look at it that way. You know what I mean? To me, as long as I got Joel Embiid and I have a rising star in Tyrese Maxey and I'm gaining a bunch of depth and things that role players and a coach who we all agree is a significant upgrade, I could never look at it and be like, my window's closed. And then now you have cap space going into the summer. I'm not trying to just be, Sixered up, but I'm trying to think of it from a logistical standpoint. And to me, logically, you always have a shot when you have certain things in your team, certain elements.
And I
think we have a few elements to contend.
Right, and thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. That's a good call. They are in such a better spot than they were yesterday. I mean, yesterday
as far
we were
as to
talking
go chasing
about
something, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we are talking about what do you do if Harden says he's ready to play? Can you throw him on the court? What happens if Daryl Morey sees him on the floor and the team starts doing well? Well, all that stuff is gone, and you can go out and get a max player. You can go out and sign. You can trade. You can do so many things now that you couldn't do yesterday. So, as more of the day goes on, I think Sixers fans should be happy with what went down just a few hours ago.
610-632-0975. We're reacting to the James Harden trade. And also, really, more of the discussion is focused on the confidence everybody has for this team to move forward. And that's one of the things that I'm thrilled that he's gone. But I'm also thrilled that Daryl Morey is, according to Woj, going to be looking to add someone in the here and now. Doesn't mean today, but in the here and now instead of worrying about down the road, which makes me excited. Graph and Media, always excited. Good morning, buddy.
Well, guys, I'm back.
That's
back to reality.
There we
That
go.
Phillies loss definitely hurt my soul a little bit, but I'm proud. I love that team, and we're going to be around for a while, so I'm not going to focus on that. But this Sixers situation, what my man's just said, right? Like, it's kind of like you're rebuilding, but you have Joel Embiid to rebuild around, which is nice. You're going to have what, Bob, like $60 million in cap space now or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Like 50 to 60, probably.
That is so much money.
It is.
Now, my question is, and my brother-in-law brought this up. Shout out to Andrew. I don't know if he's listening, but he typically does. Try to. Are you sticking with Daryl Morey? Because he feels like you shouldn't stick with Daryl Morey because now his name is, in some way, shape, or form, shaded in a red marker across the NBA due to James Harden's words. So when you're looking for a max contract free agent, do you want Daryl Morey to be the guy talking with that person?
It's a good question, Graf, and it's one that John posed earlier today. Is he the guy you trust in doing this? Now, I don't know. He has the reputation and all that. He's considered one of the best GMs in the league. Well, now's prove it time, right? I mean, you know, we have to admit, when he made the move to get rid of Ben Simmons, we were happy with the package he got back. And it worked out for a little while there, and you thought this Sixers team might be on to something. And then all of this went down. It's like our boss Joe Bell said to me during the break. Now it's wait and see time. Wait and see what he does with these assets that he has, and it's going to be that. This is going to be Daryl Morey's legacy right now. As big as the Ben Simmons thing was, as big as getting James Harden in here, getting rid of Harden and doing what you do with these assets is probably going to set his legacy here in Philadelphia.
And one other thing, when people are talking about the assets he got in return, I cannot say it enough. When you have one suitor, he didn't have the ability to play three teams off each other. Or, gentleman asked here, Andy asked me, he goes, why wouldn't you hold on to Harden and wait till some team gets desperate? I don't know. I mean, I don't think you're going to sit, because they wouldn't be able to sit Harden. You can't just say, you're healthy and you're ready to play. We're just gonna sit you.
No, because then the league gets involved.
Then they're going to get involved that you're being punitive on Harden, and I think that's exactly what he would have wanted. I think that was his whole idea of I'll come back and play, is to try to I'm going to be disruptive and I'm ready to play. Put me in, coach. And I think it could have dragged this team to a halt, seeing what Nick Nurse does on offense. And it's that with Harden, yeah. I don't see Harden keeping up with it or wanting to play that style.
I think he could have figured it out. I think James Harden's a pretty smart basketball player, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. James Harden isn't going to play for Nick Nurse this year, probably never in his career. And now it has to be. It has to be you turn the head, you're moving forward. He's not here anymore. It doesn't matter. Who are you going to get? How is this team going to play under Nick Nurse? And what piece or pieces do they need moving forward?
My biggest problem, though, still retains on, Bob, is the idea that Daryl Morey was the one that told us all, convinced us all, chased this guy down like the high school quarterback chasing down the hottest cheerleader. He's the one who told us this was going to work. He's the one who told us this is a great fit. And so I don't know that I trust the vision that he has. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Was that Morey's fault? I mean, all of this that played out, who do you put the blame on? You put it on James Harden.
No, I do.
Yeah,
but it showed in the playoffs, the last two games of 2022 against the Miami Heat, the last two games of 2023, it showed you he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy that he was purported to be. He wasn't the difference maker. He wasn't the guy who could step up in a clutch situation when they needed him. And others didn't contribute either.
No.
Joel had a terrible Game 6 and Game 7. Terrible. But still, I mean, he didn't live up to what Daryl saw a vision. This is going to be the guy that's going to get us there. And look, he was in a tough situation here trying to trade him, though. I don't know what you do when there's only one team at the table. I mean, you're not going to get the best deal. It's just not going to happen.
That being said, he got a pretty good one, I think.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, as long as this isn't about,
as long as the next step is good.
Yeah, well, no, and also too, as long as the next step is coming this year, because I don't want to sit there in the spring and see the Sixers. Pat, you were saying what, like 3-4 seed, and they're sitting there in the spring and they get knocked out early.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're talking about 25-26 now. I don't want that. Not it, bud. Don in Philly joins us. Don, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great to have you on, buddy. Happy Halloween.
Same to you. I just think Maxi, he's going to be an okay player. He's never going to be a superstar in this league. And
He's already better than an okay player.
Yeah, he is, but he's up and down. He might give you 30 this game, 10 next game. He started off good this year. It ain't going to keep rolling like that because you can tell what kind of a player he is. But
what kind of a player is he, Don? What do you mean?
He's like from 1 to 10, he's a 7.5, like right there. He's not no 8, 9 player. He's not no second best player on the team. He's not that guy.
I don't think 7.5's unfair with Maxi. 7.5 or like, I mean, what is a LeBron James is like the 10. Kevin Durant is like the 9.5.
Well, let me ask you this too, Don. You say he's not that player. Are you okay with the player he is?
Yes, I love him. I love his heart and everything. Yes.
Okay.
But we need another superstar. He's not a superstar.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, that's a good point, Don. I won't. Yeah, I don't want to put Maxi down the player he is, and I thought that's where Don was going. He wasn't. He was saying he's a really good player. He loves him, but he's not that second guy next to Joel Embiid. I'm okay with that, but I'm also okay if they get another guy that's as good as Maxi, and maybe they're both the second player. Tyrese Maxey is really good.
He's a good player. He is.
He's more than a good. He's a very, very good player.
But is he? If you were to say 0 to 10, is 7? But to say no. I mean, if you're ranking, if the LeBron Jameses of the world are the 10s, and Kevin Durant maybe is a 9.5.
7.5 might even be high. I mean, he's not in the Dame Lillard category, and guys that you might put more towards 7.5. But he is what he is, and what it is very, very good. And his 3-point percentage just growing every year, and his point total growing every year. And a guy that you can rely on, the shots that he makes. I don't have to categorize like, is he the second guy? Is he the third? Right. Is he a 7.5? No, I just think he's a really good player that I want on my basketball team.
Are you happy that Kevin is right now like Kevin Durant? Are you happy that James Harden's gone? And if you're happy, are you happy with the ability to flip this return for something that is real tangible, that can help this team win this year? 610-632-0975. We love having you join us. There's been a lot of lively discussion today. Oh, and by the way, it's trade deadline day for Howie Roseman. Pat just smiled. I could see his teeth from here. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. I love the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app. I love it because of the ease, honestly, of being able to fund my account and also, too, to be able to get paid when I am a winner. And I love that big time. Right now, you got the Birds in the midst of what looks like potentially another Super Bowl season, plus with hoops and hockey and all the different options you got. And every weekend, it's
Beasley Media Group Station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Happy Halloween to those who celebrate. Everybody gives out candy.
Celebrate.
Well, you're not dressed up. I'm not dressed up. Pat's not dressed up.
I'll put on a mask today, and I'll sit outside and give out candy with, there might be a cooler sitting next to me.
We had a neighbor in our old neighborhood back south who was famous for putting the Jason Voorhees or the Scarecrow out in the front yard for like 3 weeks leading up to Halloween. And then Halloween night, he is dressed as that person, sitting there waiting to just scare the crap out of the kids. Literally, he would scare like 6 and 7-year-olds. And we'd be like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That you're doing you're doing that. It's funny if you have older people. It's fun when you get older kids going.
Unless they,
I saw a thing this morning. Please be kind if teenagers come to your door tonight. Please be kind to them if they're not dressed in costumes and everything. They may have something going on and they're just looking to have fun. Bull crap. It's
like
Halloween.
Pat looking for that free candy.
It's Halloween. And if a kid, no.
I feel personally attacked by this.
I mean, seriously. Please be kind. Sometimes teenagers just want to, relive part of their childhood. Then get a freaking costume on. Nobody has ever denied somebody with a costume on. Have they? For
Only
candy?
John would get mad like that. Get a freaking costume on.
No, it's because you're going, please be kind to the teenager who might be at your door tonight not wearing a costume. They may be going through something. I'm like, shut up. Seriously. Put on a costume. They have it you can get a mask, a 99-cent mask. The Wonder Woman masks. The other day at one of the stores we were at, the dollar store had Wonder Woman, Batman, Spider-Man masks. 99 cents. Let's put one on. I can see Bob is Spider-Man, Pat, or what?
No, he's Uncle Ben.
He'd be Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
We just.
I mean, you have a group of 5 kids that come to your door. John looks at one of them and says, "You don't have a costume, no candy for you."
My mom used to do that. But she used to
Did she?
Seriously.
That my mom had this list of rules. You had to have a costume. She would grill the person if they didn't have a costume of what are you? What did you come as? They were doing an interview for a fun-sized Snickers.
Wait a minute.
I'd look at the kid this isn't even worth it, man. Just go to the next house.
Wait a minute. T-Dog's doing fun sizes?
Oh, yeah. She does. She never
Now,
did.
she
couldn't afford the full-size
Yeah, but does she let them have numerous?
I don't remember.
She's not giving one. No one gives one
It's
fun
been
size.
a minute.
I just did my parents couldn't afford to buy me a costume, sorry. And then just guilt the hell out of the people.
What would you dress up as, a hobo? I was a hobo before.
I would throw on a basketball uniform or a shirt or something,
something like that. You made an effort.
A little bit, yeah.
There's an effort. Hey, the Sixers made an effort to improve their 2024 chances when playoff time comes around next spring. They moved James Harden. James Harden said he didn't want to be here, and now he's gone. So now he's a Clipper, and they got a haul in return. Well, they got a potential haul in return, depending on what Daryl Morey can turn it into. Bob, can you give it one more time? Because we're heading into the 9 o'clock hour, which is brought to you by the Bagster, the dumpster in a bag. Get your stay at Home Depot and Lowe's. For details, go to Bagster.com. Olivia's Harden jersey may have to go in that Bagster a little bit later today.
Interesting.
She better not wear it ever again.
The Sixers got rid of James Harden, P.J. Tucker, and Philip Petrusev. Also waived Danny Green, so got rid of a lot of old players. They got back Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, K.J. Martin Jr., I guess the J is Jr., 2028 first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and a first round from another team that is yet to be determined. So as far as players go, you didn't get much. I don't know what you're going to get out of a Covington, a Batum, a Martin. You might even be waiving one or some of those guys. Morris hasn't played yet this year. So on the surface, nothing really to be seen here. What the biggest part of the trade is and what we're talking about all morning is you picked up a lot of assets, Daryl Morey did, and you can do a max contract next year, and there's a lot of money there. So To be determined how good this trade is for the Sixers.
Yeah, I mean, the clock will be ticking on it as far as assets. We're going to let you hear from Woj coming up. But Lewis in Pennsauken joins us on The Fanatic. Good morning, Lewis.
Hey, fellas, how are you?
We're doing all right, buddy.
I'm really enjoying the trade because if he couldn't go out and get a star level player, then the next best thing is to go out and get the asset that you can package to get, all-star type player that may come available. And also real quick, this really frees up my man Tyrese and allows him to really take the reins this year because you know what Tyrese Maxi suffers from? A lot of low expectations. I can't understand why y'all don't understand that this kid is going to be an all-star this year, and he can be the second best player on a championship team. You know why I say that?
Okay.
Look at this kid's work ethic. Do you know this kid works out 3 times a day, every day in the off season? That he shoots over 1,000 jump shots on 3-pointers. This kid that went from 30% three-point percentage to 43 to now he's 56 right now.
Yeah.
I know he's not going to say that. He's not going to stay to that degree. This kid, here's the thing. Look at what John Calipari said about the kid. He says he can be just as good as De'Aaron Fox and Jamal Murray. He said exactly that on draft day. He said he said the Sixers got to steal. The fact of the matter is, the only thing been hindering him, he hasn't been on a bad Sacramento team. He hasn't been on a
Sacramento's not a bad team.
No, not now.
Yeah.
When De'Aaron.
Oh, okay.
Come on. Yeah, he was. It was a bad team, and that's how he got to where he is right now. He's always been the third. He's always been on a team with an MVP level player, and you have James Harden, and then you have Ben Simmons when he first got here. So now, take the reins off of him. This kid's going to average 27 points a game this year.
Right. I like him a lot,
I like
Lewis.
your energy, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. I like Maxi a lot. I don't think anybody was doubting his. I don't like labeling guy. Oh, he's the second guy, and he's the third, or he's this, he's that. Just let him be him. Like Lewis is right. This kid has so much potential still, and he's such a really good basketball player now. Whether he's an all-star, whether he's the second behind Joel Embiid, I don't like that. That doesn't really do much for me. I just want to see a really good basketball player out there, and how does he play with Embiid, and what more do you have to get to go along with those two and a Tobias Harris to make this maybe a contending team in the East?
I like the positive energy that has come out of the show today, though.
Yeah,
I think the later we've gone in the day, the better. That people are a little more open. Let's just say open to it. No, Pat's come around a little bit.
No,
a little bit.
No, he's not.
You say the window is still closed.
Yeah.
The window of opportunity, thanks to our friends at Window Nation. You're saying it's closed.
Yeah.
I'm asking, Pat, I'm begging you, before 10 o'clock, just leave it open where you could stick your fingers through it. Little crack.
I didn't do this. Yeah,
little crack.
It's getting weird here.
Little crack of the window.
We're talking cracks and fingers.
Cracks and windows. I just want you to leave.
That a euphemism.
Leave the window open a little. Please.
Well, it's not like I enjoy this.
I know you're not.
Tickets to the team, man.
And you're not doing it because Pat picked the side of being the person on the show that was going to say this. You feel it.
My initial reaction when I woke up was that is the grossest trade imaginable. By the way, I expected it to be a gross trade. Like, I didn't expect them to get much. And then as the morning's gone on, I felt better about what they did get. I do agree that it's probably the best Daryl Morey could have gotten under the circumstances. But, yeah, I still don't think that even all the assets, and if they make this trade and that trade, I don't think they're better than some of the teams that you look at and go, they're elite. Like, are they better than Phoenix? Are they better than Boston? Are they better than the Lakers? Are they better than the Heat or the Clippers even?
How about are they better than they were yesterday?
Probably not worse. Probably not better.
Where do you go on that?
For this season.
For this season, I think now they have assets to mess with.
Well, right now, for what you're talking right now,
as far as now they have assets,
I think they're the same. Yeah, but you're talking about right now. I mean, the assets can't happen until either further on down the road or during the off season. So, yes, you're in a better spot now. But right now, as far as basketball goes, you're the same team, pretty much.
Oh, it disappoints me.
Well, do you disagree? Like,
I wish I – no, the thing is it disappoints me because I wish I could.
Right.
disagree with you. I can't say that I do, but I'm just thinking, look, NBA insiders are saying the Sixers have the assets now to go after whatever they would want if a player comes available. Like they seem very positive on the move. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there for you now. You have something you didn't have, and that's assets. You can go out and get players now, which is something you could not do yesterday. Kenyon Martin Jr., KJ Martin, can he come in here and help you out a little bit? Yeah, maybe. Good athletic kid at 22 years old. Maybe one of those 6'6" wings or something like that. But he doesn't put you over the top of what the team was yesterday. You did lose a starter in P.J. Tucker, which is fine with me. Nothing against P.J. Tucker. I couldn't see, and I said this to you during the offseason, John. I can't see you starting a guy that has absolutely no offensive value at all. So maybe this team looks a little bit different now that you take P.J. Tucker out of the lineup. I wonder who they're going to put in. Kelly Oubre, a lot of people have suggested that this morning on Twitter and all. I kind of like him coming off the bench. I don't like taking away that bench piece. Do you give B-Ball Paul a look? I don't think Nick Nurse is into that so much right now yet.
Right now.
It's going to be interesting who slides in there. We'll see.
Hey, let's find two. All right. Now, Ron in South Jersey is going to say something that I believe a lot of people are still thinking but haven't called in about. Pat discussed this earlier today. Ron, welcome to the John Kincade Show. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, buddy.
Hey, Ron.
So I have I got a James Harden jersey I can throw into the mix, and how about I also put in a Joel Embiid jersey?
Oh, I don't like your tone this morning on Halloween. I'm going to tell you.
So as a season ticket holder, if we're gonna be, as Pat says, I agree, a 3 or a 4 out in the first or second round, move into a new stadium down the road, blow it up, get what we can, have a ton of draft capital, think for a few years, move into a new building with a brand new team.
I don't, but Ron, maybe it's because I'm dealing with chemo right now. I can't put off till 2028, 2029. Like I need to be entertained here, and I've got one of the best players on the planet on the roster now with at least 4 or 5 years of his potential prime.
5 years with him, though. That's what I
4 or 5.
I'm not sure. No, I don't know that it's 5 years.
Oh, I don't know that it is either. I'm going to say 4 or 5. I do believe that, and so I don't want to go down the road that Ron is suggesting. I'm not there yet because that will be another rebuild. There's no you trade Embiid, it is a rebuild. No one can spin it any other way, and I don't want it.
No, I don't either. Why not see it all play out? Doing something like that, a rebuild. Obviously, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees with Joel Embiid here. There's a guarantee that you have one of the best players in the league, though, on your roster. And what do you do a rebuild for? To try to get one of them. I am not giving up on him right now. No.
Not doing that.
No.
Pat, you spoke this into the universe.
Yeah.
Have you moved off that position at all that you would want to? Are you just saying consider it, or are you saying do it?
I think they should do it at this point. Yeah, I'm advocating for it. I don't feel good about that. That sounds gross.
It does sound gross.
Like, you got to keep in mind, I'm somebody that thinks the window is shut, that these assets, while great, aren't going to bring them over the top. So if you're in the minority in my camp, then trading Embiid does make a lot of sense. You can get the most for him right now.
Oh, yes.
His value is never going to be higher, and you're doing it before he demands out, which many people have called up today and said that this is a star league, and when stars demand out, it's only a matter of time, blah, blah, blah. Well, when a star demands out, the trade value plummets.
Completely plummets.
This was a talking point before this trade went down. This was a talking point in the offseason. How long does Joel Embiid, is he going to stick around for? And, it's not just us bringing it up. It's like the talking heads on ESPN.
Well, he brought it up.
The insiders. Well, yeah, exactly.
If I win a championship here or somewhere else, he did that.
If you run the risk of being a 3 or 4 seed, losing the second round, and then him saying, yeah, I want to trade, why don't you just do it now. It's not like I want to trade an MVP of the league at 30, but, the guy's never healthy. His value is at its ultimate peak, and, you trade him, you could probably get an absolute ransom for him, and you build around Tyrese Maxey, and that doesn't sound – I don't like saying that, but at this point, I don't see an avenue where all these assets that they've acquired make them a true championship contender with the way that the other teams around the league have conducted business.
Maxey's shoulders are not broad enough to carry
probably not
as the centerpiece of a rebuild.
No, I don't think there's many 6'2" people out there that are going to be able to carry it.
When I say build around Maxey, he's the one piece
and that's why I say I can't, He's
the one piece that you're keeping around that you go, okay, he will be around in 5 years.
Right.
Because the rest of the roster, if you were to trade Embiid, you're not keeping them around for 5, 6, 7 years from now. Like Tyrese Maxey would be the one guy. If you trade Embiid to, let's say, if you trade him to Oklahoma City, you can get Chet Holmgren maybe, and then a bunch of their draft picks that they've acquired, and try to rebuild from there.
No, Pat, I don't want to.
No, and a lot of people don't want to. I'm scared to open up my Twitter right now. It's
I hated the stupid process.
Probably a hellscape.
And I don't want to. I don't want to sit through anything even close to it again.
Well, if you don't sit through it, you run the risk of being the Chicago Bulls, who are putting Zach LaVine on the building.
Yeah,
because they got nobody else.
Because they got nothing else. Exactly.
Yeah, I can't close the window because of the prospect of being able to sign a max player to go along with Joel Embiid, to go along with Tyrese Maxey, and whatever else you may want to do. I just can't. Not when you have someone as good as Joel Embiid. I can't
do it either.
Close the window completely. And I don't know. I said before, and have taken a lot of grief for it, and a lot of people misunderstood what I was saying. When they were looking to trade Ben Simmons, and the times were what they were as far as money went and all that, I did say on these airways, while you're talking to these teams about Ben Simmons, why not ask them what their interest is in Joel Embiid, too, just to get a feel for it.
Get a feel for the
market. In case that's the way you might want to go. But now, and Pat, I probably would agree with you if they didn't have this asset or these assets that they have moving forward. I think it's like kind of a shinier light is being shown upon the Sixers right now.
I guess my fear with it is if they don't, and I'd be kind of surprised about this, but if they don't end up trading those assets this season and you just keep those
you just
picks,
sit around and wait.
And you got a 2026 Oklahoma City pick, which ends up being, 24 to, 30. And you've got the 2028 pick for an LA team when LA constantly is one of the destinations that guys want to go to. That's my fear is like, these assets are great because they're assets, but you got to do something with them. Now, the Sixers could trade these assets and acquire an amazing package, and tomorrow I'm coming in and I'm changing my tune. But as I sit here today...
Nicholas Batum?
Yes, exactly. I'm changing my Nicholas Batum. But as I sit here today, I feel like the window's shut. And if the window is shut, then keeping Embiid does nothing for me other than it entertains me for a season, and that's selfish. That's short-sighted.
I think that makes sense. I think your point makes sense.
But both of you guys and a lot of our callers, and I understand it, they think the window's open. So
No. I'm being Eeyore. I think the window is open the way you crack the window before, on a cold night.
It's still open.
I have to have fresh air. But I'm talking the window's open this much. My Window Nation window is open like that much. It's not open, full open.
All right,
anybody who's saying that, I think is living in la-la land.
Let me put a title on it. Let me put a name to it. Okay, maybe it'll make you feel better. Say you go into this offseason and you sign Klay Thompson. And you bring him in here with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. He's 33. I mean, would that make you feel any better? Does that open a window for you?
No,
not
personally.
Not at that age.
Yeah, 33.
Is there any other name you could? Is there any other name you could give me?
There's not great. I mentioned the free agents earlier. It's not a great free agent, Chris. It's probably going to have to be a trade that you're going to do, and then look to extend somebody after that. But that's the only reason I can't close the window, because you have that possibility of getting pretty much anybody if you have max money.
Hey, I want to get Malcolm in Woodland joins us. Malcolm, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing all right, buddy.
Always listening in the morning, first time calling you.
We appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Harden trade. I don't think the Harden trade is a bad trade at all. I believe Morey got something in the mix with the access that he got to make a trade for somebody that y'all just said, Zach LaVine. That's the name that's been brought up a lot. But I think he got a trade. It might not be for Zach LaVine, but I think he got a little trade for somebody that's a caliber player to help us.
It's weird. The NBA Live. I'm just going because a couple people have sent me the screenshot from NBA Live, the show they do with Malika Andrews, saying about the Zach LaVine. It says Zach LaVine trade discussions tend to be on sports talk radio shows and a lot less in the Chicago front office. But that doesn't mean that can't change.
No,
that doesn't mean it can't change. If they start out terrible or things break down, maybe they decide this is the time that we can restock the shelves, and it's what he's got to go, and it's what they got to go with. I just don't want to. I don't want to be sitting here talking about a Sixers rebuild.
Nobody does.
I know. I know you don't.
Like, that's not fun.
I had people.
Sometimes they're necessary.
But Pat, I had people tell me that the process was fun.
It wasn't fun, but it was. It was more fun.
It was a process.
It was more fun than watching what the Bulls are. It was more fun than watching it.
Okay.
Because you were watching guys like T.J. McConnell.
I got you.
And ironically, Robert Covington. And it was like every night, like they were throwing in, a different starting five every single night. But every once in a while, you'd find a piece, and you go, okay, maybe that guy can be something. That was what was fun about it, was watching a team grow and finding diamonds in the rough. But I'd still rather do that than just be, the 6-7 seed every year.
I got you. I mean, I think that's fair, and I think most people are like you.
But was I clamoring for your 7 p.m. Sixers Wizards? No, I was not.
I saw a lot of people that were like, "Isn't this fun? This whole thing is so fun. It's going to just be amazing." I just don't want to live through it. Don't want to live through it again. 610-632-0975. No fun of thinking, what will it be in 3 years, and let's just dump players and everything like that. Rebuilds don't tend to be fun.
It sucked. I had to sit through every one of those damn games. It sucked.
Okay, but the
Tim Frazier's of the world. Well, I'm good to see you, Timmy.
It's
way
not
to
fun.
go, you Penn State guy. Shake your hand and
Bob,
you start and get 48 minutes a night.
You're too close to it, though.
No, I know. I believe me, and that's the way I'm saying
the thing.
it. Yes, yeah.
I had the luxury of going, I don't feel like watching this tonight.
Yeah,
Bob, you didn't
well,
have
that's
the
why I
luxury.
said it sucks for me. I'm not speaking
you
for
had
the
to watch the
masses.
Tim Frazier.
I thought
tenure.
it sucked. I thought it sucked the whole time. Hated it.
Yeah, it was.
And didn't see the logic in it. And
I saw the thinking in it.
I saw the thinking. I didn't see the logic in it.
I saw the logic in it.
And its execution was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
I saw the logic. The execution was poor.
It was horrendous. And so, hey, you want to get in with us? 610-632-0975. Everyone reacting to the James Harden trade. Do you think that first of all, do you feel that you are happy he's gone? I am elated that I never, ever will have to root for the Sixers with James Harden on the team. But are you happy with the return, and do you believe in the plan to get so much from the return? We'll get to that next. Hang out with us, John Kincade Show, here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Fear be gone. I'm Pat Egan. This Sports Update is brought to you by the BetParks app. When you open the BetParks app, you're in the zone. It's all your favorite casino games at your fingertips. Plus, new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet Parks. Must be 21 in NPA or in Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. While you were sleeping, the Sixers dealt James Harden to the Clippers. The full deal is James Harden, P.J. Tucker, Philip Petrusev to the L.A. Clippers for Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, K.J. Martin, the Oklahoma City Thunder's 2026 first-round pick, and an unprotected pick in 2028 via the L.A. Clippers. 2 second-round picks also, and a pick swap. To make roster space, the team waived Danny Green. We'll get our first look at the new Sixers when they take the court on Thursday against the Raptors. Over on the ice, the Flyers fell to the Hurricanes 3-2. Owen Tippett and Garnet Hathaway were your goal scorers. They next take the ice on Thursday against the Sabres at home. It's the NFL trade deadline today at 4 p.m. The Eagles picked up a 6th-rounder yesterday for Contavious Street. According to The Athletic's Diana Rossini, Howie Roseman is looking for linebacker, so keep it locked to the Fanatic for all your trade deadline news. I'm Pat Egan on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, it's Ricky Metallico to tell you about our friends at Schwartz Culleton. You've heard their ads and their iconic phone number for years, 1-800-JUSTICE. When you've been injured in a car accident, there is no greater resource than an experienced lawyer. The lawyers at Schwartz Culleton have well over 100 years combined experience prosecuting claims on behalf of individuals injured in car accidents. They have helped over 10,000 clients obtain the justice they deserve. The firm has become a bedrock of the Philadelphia community and the surrounding suburbs. From start to finish, they'll help you get your car repaired and ensure you have all the best doctors for your injuries. They have relationships with the top medical specialists and have a strong reputation with the insurance companies. There is no doubt you'll get justice if you call 1-800-JUSTICE. Again, that's 1-800-JUSTICE. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Home improvement doesn't have to be scary when you let the Preferred Pros handle your projects. Whether you need help with drafty windows or you need to clean out the clutter, the Preferred Pros will help you transform your life and home. If you're tired of tricks and contractors ghosting you, reach out to a Preferred Pro. Whether your project is big or small, you'll be in for a treat.
Leaky pipes, cold showers? Hutchinson Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing offers affordable 24-hour emergency plumbing solutions, same-day water heater installs, and lowest cost drain clearing.
East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows. If you call, they'll show up. Schedule your free consultation today at eastcoastroofing.com. Serving South Jersey since 1979.
Halco Grills and Fireplaces offer sales, services, and installation of top-of-the-line outdoor grill products and accessories. Buy a Halco grill and grill like a pro for decades. Visit halcogrills.com.
Check out Preferred Pros today. This paid program is sponsored by businesses highly rated by actual customers. For more details on Preferred Pros, visit 975thefanatic.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-833-0733. 800-833-0733. 800-833-0733.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need some headlight bulbs.
You can earn a $10 bonus reward when you buy 2 Sylvania Silver Star Ultra bulbs.
Get in zone.
Wait, my wiper blades are streaking too. I need some new ones.
Right now, you can earn a $15 bonus reward when you buy 2 Rain X Quantum wiper blades. With new blades and bulbs, you'll see better on the road.
Get in zone.
Wow, how do you remember all these deals?
Call it Second Sight.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Offer valid for AutoZone Rewards members. Restrictions apply.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
No, I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of
Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Inc. Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank. Any member FDIC.
Is it possible that fast internet can take your business to the next level? With gig speed Wi-Fi from Comcast Business, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $39 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/12/2023. Restrictions apply. Eco bill and auto pay required. New 50 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. After promo, regular rates apply. Gig Wi-Fi requires gig internet and compatible router.
Hey, it's Jen Scordo. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on all the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a huge range of betting options like spreads and player props, overs and unders, and a whole lot more. And oh boy, it's Dallas week. Philadelphia will host the Cowboys. There are so many options for you to choose from. You know, my favorite is to pick who's going to score first. Add in an anytime touchdown by your quarterback, and then the spread or the money line. Lots of pre-built same-game parlays are available as well. So you can score early by going to FanDuel.com/Scordo. That's FanDuel.com/Scordo. And definitely score early this NFL season with FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
21 plus in present PA. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello? Whether you're at home or on the go, listen to 97.5 The Fanatic on Odyssey on your smartphone, Roku, LG Smart TV, Waze, and more. That's Odyssey, AUDACY. Check it out now. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
It's been a wild Halloween so far. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Appreciate you checking in. So funny is this one's great from one of our Twitter followers sends me a DM, Doug, and he just flat out says, I was one of the last people, but I'm willing to just turn off the lights. We never have to mention the process again. And he says, I was one of the last people. We don't ever have to mention it again. I appreciate you turning off the lights because they'd still get a bill if that was going on. He says, I think our passion for the Sixers caused us to continually believe that somehow a championship or a real true championship contender was going to materialize. That never happened, and I blame the people who took those assets and made stupid-ass decisions.
I think they were a contender the year they lost to Toronto. I think they easily could have gotten to the finals and maybe done something
maybe would
there.
have won, right? I mean,
yeah. Then things kind of got. I liked the team a lot when they had like the JJ Redicks and the. Oh my God, I'm going to forget their names.
Marco Bellinelli.
Yeah, Marco Bellinelli.
Ersan Ilyasova.
I really like that team. And gotten in an argument with Colangelo about his just blowing up and saying Ilyasova. No, I'm not. I'm like, are you kidding? It's exactly the fit you need. No, you're wrong on that. Got rid of him and then wound up bringing him back. But I liked that team back then. So I wouldn't say they weren't contenders.
I just think if you don't get to the conference finals, if you're not in the Final Four, you weren't really close to a title. I mean, you got to be in the Final Four to be in the losing in the divisional round in the NFL playoffs. Nobody's going to say, well, they were a title contender that year. I wouldn't think, but I mean, they were close. I think that team would have gone to the NBA Finals if they beat Toronto.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they may have won it.
Hey, let's get back to the phone. 610-632-0975. A lot of folks checking in. Are you happy Harden's gone? I'm elated. So I'm on a whole new level. But are you happy with the return and how you think they're going to use it? I'm not sure that I trust that they're going to do the right things with the assets that they've acquired. Tom in Newtown Square's on hold. Tom, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. Tom? Tom is not with us. Tom has passed on.
Tom got traded.
He didn't get passed on. He didn't
Wow.
pass on,
Jeez,
but I mean,
John.
he's
Maybe
there.
He just hung up.
Hey, Terrell, how are you, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing?
We're doing well, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I was just calling because I agree with Pat, actually. I'm actually on Pat's side. I think that the next season or two will dictate whether or not Joel Embiid gets traded or not. And I think, like I was reading, J.P. Finland from, the NBC Sports in D.C.
Okay.
Josh Harris okayed the trade for, the Harden trade. And he's supposed to be cleaning house today in Washington. Maybe he cleans house with Daryl Morey if he doesn't. Daryl Morey doesn't do good.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. I got to tell you this: the way that Daryl Morey sold James Harden, and I even went back during the break and was listening to the press conferences after that went down. I got to tell you, he really sold it, and it was wrong. And so, in my mind, did James Harden sell us a bill of goods, or did Daryl Morey sell us a bill of goods? He's the one who said, "This is the perfect fit. It's going to be awesome. He's what you need."
It could have been. I still think James Harden's a really good basketball player. It could have been. It just all went bad. And I forget what NBA player. I was talking to an NBA guy this weekend, I believe, and we were lockstep in agreement that the Harden thing with the promise of a contract probably did happen. And if that didn't happen, and if it was a Michael Rubin who promised it to him, who was on his way out unknowingly and then couldn't get it to him, and then you have Josh Harris saying, no, we can't do that. You need to tell him. And then Morey tells, whatever the case is, this could have been a lot better. As far as just basketball on the court, it could have been a lot better.
Bob's got 1,000 better sources in the NBA than I do. But Daryl Morey is a guy who's no one's ever questioned his, like the way he conducts business, his character, his things. James Harden, to me, it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's hard for me to go, yeah, you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
He handled it wrong.
Daryl Morey's the liar. I can't call. Daryl Morey has never been called a liar by anybody else. Never been accused of being an unscrupulous general manager or president. He's never had any issues like that. He gets involved in a deal with James Harden, and James Harden's like, he's a liar. He's this. And
yeah, I don't agree at all with the way Harden handled things, and we talked about that before. His business advice that he was getting or the way he chose to do business was completely wrong. I do believe that he was promised something that he didn't get, though.
Let's see what Sam in England joins us. Sam, good morning. Or good afternoon, I should say.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, it's only 4-hour time difference at the moment, so it's not too bad for me.
What's going on, buddy?
I'm good. How are you anyway?
Good, man. Doing well.
Good. I love all you guys, but Pat's not right today. I think it was a lot about the process, though. I enjoyed it because I got cheap tickets. I got to fly over, get to go on the court and all that stuff for like $100. Now I can't even get a seat in the in the heavens for that price. But outside of that, I think we've done a really good job here because how are we going to put Harden back into the team the way they're playing at the moment and Maxi development? I think it's great that we've got these bench pieces because, in my opinion, we've got a stronger bench than last year or the previous few years. We've got a better coach than the last few years. So for me, that makes up for the fact we've lost a superstar or a guy that one game was a superstar was and one game wasn't. And now we've got assets. And I do trust Morey a little bit that he will then fit those assets for a potential solid starter. We don't necessarily need a superstar, but we can have a borderline all-star.
You think he's done a great job? Did I hear you right? I don't want to misquote you. You think he's done a great job here, Daryl Morey?
Yes. No, I think a good job. Sorry, I think he's done a great job this off-season, but this trade was a good one. I think replacing Doc and upgrading the bench, I think Pat Bev is a good pickup. Morris, they got that dog mentality. And I think they're a better dog mentality because they're better than replacing Tucker's dog, with the because they can still play a bit, whereas I think Tucker's kind of a bit, done.
Right.
So, that's where I see it. And the other good thing we haven't mentioned, Harry Roseman does not want to be showing up today. So
that's what we're hoping on. I said that earlier, Sammy.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that.
No, cheerio. I agree with you. I think Howie doesn't want to be upstage today. He wants to come up with a big move. He wants to put a smile on Pat's face. I'm going to tell you, somebody named Howie texted me earlier, and he said he wants to put a smile on Pat's face. That's the agenda before 4 p.m. I don't know that it's Howie. I don't know that it's Howie Roseman. Maybe, I don't know who it could be. It could have been Howie Heller. I have Howie Heller in my phone. Howie might have done it. I don't know who it could be. So we'll see.
I don't think I have any Howies in my phone.
Howie's at the first year at Military Academy. He is at West Point. So
Howie who?
Howie Heller.
Oh.
So hopefully, other than any Howie, I don't have any Howies. I don't have any Howies in my phone. Pat?
No.
Could be Howie wanting to make you happy today.
I hope so.
You're downtrodden.
I'm not downtrodden. It's just like
it sounds downtrodden. I feel bad for you.
I can't fake excitement over a pick in 2026 and cap space and a 2028 unprotected pick and second rounders. Like, look, if they turn all these assets into something, then yeah,
Right.
I'll be excited. But I guess I just don't have faith that they will be able to do that and build a contender. I have faith that they'll be able to turn the assets into something, but is that something a contender? I don't have faith in that.
Do you think that will put a smile on my face? Because I would like to see it. In fact, if we have one of our team members is dressed up today. If she could come in, I'd like to ask her a question because there's something that would make me really, really happy today. It would make me really happy if someone could make this happen because, Bob, I think it's something that we'd get a really good reaction out of you. That would be priceless, and I think the YouTube audience would really like it. We welcome Snooki's here from the Jersey Shore, but you came up to Philly for the day. Hi, Snook.
Hey, how are you? Party's here.
If I gave you a task, could you get us the emotional support alligator?
I could.
In studio?
In studio, I could.
That's your homework assignment.
Wally coming to 97.5 The Fanatic.
See if you can get Wally on there.
Yeah.
But we wanted you to get a look at Snook. So get us Wally the support alligator.
The support
Bob,
alligator.
Would you hold the support alligator?
For what? No. What do I want to hold an alligator for?
Pat, would you hold the alligator?
Yeah, because I talked
too.
to Big Game, and Bob said, oh, well, let's see him put an alligator in the studio. So not only will it be in the studio, yeah, I'll hold it.
Okay,
Weren't we talking about it this morning that at some point this alligator's just going to turn and bite something?
At some point it may happen.
I don't need to be that point.
I have held alligators before, and so I am willing to hold the alligator. I would like Wally to come in, and on a day like this, Pat could have used the support alligator.
Could have, yeah, absolutely.
Right? It could have raised Pat's
nice cuddly
could have raised
gator.
Pat's day a little bit. So, hey, Nick in Bucks County joins us. Nick, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. How are you, buddy?
Hey, good morning.
You actually are going to talk a little bit of birds with us on this trade deadline day.
Yeah, I have this feeling like we're almost like the Vikings from last year. Like we just keep winning these very close games. Feel like we keep losing the turnover battle every time, but again, that's just, there's always going to be some type of regression there.
Well, then who's the Eagles of last year?
No one.
Okay.
The NFL,
well, then the
NFL
Eagles are the best. Then the Eagles are the best team. If the Vikings didn't have an Eagles last year, if they didn't have somebody that was better than them, who's better than them behind them?
I mean, the Chiefs, obviously.
No, Chiefs are in the AFC
matter.
and they've lost more. They've already lost more games.
That doesn't matter. The Chiefs have already proven the Eagles.
Brian, you're missing. You're not making any sense, Brian. Who's better? I mean, who's better than them? Excuse me, Nick. Who's better than them in the NFC?
Nobody now. But
well, then they're not Minnesota of last year then. Because the Eagles were the best team in the NFC last year.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts has 11 turnovers already.
He does.
Is there not a cause for concern there?
There is a cause for concern. We talk about it every single day that there's a cause for concern there.
If you go through the games.
But who's better than them?
The Patriots game was almost a loss.
Nick, I ask you a question. Nick, I asked you a question. I'll put you on hold if you're just going to try to talk over. I asked you a question. Who's better than them in the NFC?
Cowboys are not.
No, they're not better than them. Come on.
They're on the same level.
No, they're not. They've already lost more, and they have more holes.
But the Eagles aren't immune to that. They could have lost to some bad teams.
And they didn't. And they didn't. And they didn't.
Yeah, by the skin of their
teeth. But the Chiefs did. But the Chiefs did. The Bills did. The 49ers did. Dallas did.
Do you understand the situations that happen for them to win? Do you understand that the
Nick? Do you understand?
The end zone?
Nick, how about this? All right, forget. Nick, do you understand that sometimes when you beat the bad teams and you survive them, it's good. It works out well. When you go out there and you beat the bad teams, because you know what? The Chiefs didn't. The Bills didn't. The Bengals didn't. The Cowboys didn't. The 49ers didn't. The Eagles did. I mean, seriously. Would you rather be talking about law? I don't understand if people would rather be talking about losses, saying it's a law. Like, man, it's like that. Boy, they won games. While other teams are losing games.
Yeah, it was interesting. I wanted to hear him say, like, why was he going to the it's interesting because the Vikings won a boatload of games last year. I think this is what he was trying to say.
They did.
And ultimately, their flaws came about when it came playoff time, and he's thinking that maybe that's where the Sixers or the Eagles are this year. It's interesting. I didn't think of that. I hope it's not the case.
They weren't the best team in the NFC last year. They were one of the guys that they were in that Cowboys this year. Cowboys, 49ers, Lions. Lions are right there.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not talking about other teams. Like his point, I think, was that the Vikings won a lot of close games last year, almost in spite of themselves with the turnovers. And I guess he was trying to compare that to this year's Eagles team.
He was. What about the teams though would you rather lose those games? Like, I mean, he's talked about
the Vikings didn't lose those games last year, I think is what his point was.
But he said the Chiefs are better than them. The Chiefs just lost to the Broncos. The Eagles if the Eagles played the Broncos or play like that, and you win a game, the Chiefs have already lost more games. The Bengals, the Bills, the 49ers. The 49ers have lost 3 in a row. And I've still got people telling me, well, the 49ers they're a good team, the 49ers. But they're not in the Eagles class because they're finding ways to lose, not finding ways to win.
I think you got to look at the whole situation, and we talked about this before. Like, there's going to be stretches of games where your team doesn't play well. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. I said to you, San Fran might be playing their best football right now. Beginning of the year, they start 4-0, 5-0, whatever it may be.
5-0.
And then it starts to derail a little bit. I'm not going to say that they're not in the Eagles category because they've lost a few games. When push comes to shove and you look at the overall team and you get to January and February, I think they'll probably be there.
I don't think Purdy's there. That's just me. I doubt Purdy.
Maybe not.
I doubt Purdy.
A lot was thrown on him, that's for sure.
And if I have Jalen Hurts healthy and I have Purdy going up against him, I'll bet on Jalen Hurts. That the Eagles have a big advantage. I don't want to say huge. Big advantage if Brock Purdy is going up against Jalen Hurts. Purdy's sort of showing there's a lot of tape where you talk about guys getting tape on people. Hey, let's see what Lee in Philadelphia wants to say. Lee, good morning. You're on The Fanatic.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, buddy.
Oh, thanks for taking my call. So lovely to be on. And, I listen to you guys on my drive to work every day, and it just makes the drive 1,000 times better. So
thank you, buddy.
For all that you guys do. I actually wasn't going to call. I was just having a nice, relaxing morning. But that last caller just really got me fired up.
Yes.
I mean, we are the best team in the NFL. I don't care how sloppy some of those wins have been. The only number that matters is the win column and the loss column. And we have the best record in the NFL. I mean, if I would have called it in August and said, hey, this is what our record's going to be, nobody would have said, well, what were the scores and who did we beat? Were we really squeaked? No, everybody would be elated. I mean, unlike the Niners, unlike the Cowboys, unlike
Bills, Chiefs, Bengals.
Yeah, we're finding ways to win. It's the NFL. Even the bad teams have a shot at beating anyone.
And Lee, last year's Vikings were not the defending NFC champions with a pedigree. I mean, it's ridiculous comparing the Eagles to the Vikings.
That was, that is why I was like, okay, I got to call in. Hopefully I can get on because that guy was absolutely out of line. Comparing us to the Vikings of last year, did the Vikings make a Super Bowl and lose it because of a botched call? All right, I'm not going to get into that.
There you go. Make you feel better today. Howie's going to get you something this afternoon. He'll get you a little gift.
If you had to guess, where's it going to be?
I think they looked at linebacker. By the way, you were talking about Nakobe Dean earlier. Nakobe finished in the bottom 30% of scored out linebackers this past weekend. Now it's one game and that's unfair because he hasn't been there in any other game he's played. That's the worst game he's ever played in the pros. But I got to admit that might give them a little bit of pause.
Well, the scary thing is, he's out with injury. Your linebackers played well during that time. A talking point with us that they look decent, and then he comes back from injury, and it's boom, plug him right back in. Does that say something about the linebackers, also something about the linebackers you have, that you don't have confidence in him? Why is it that Nakobe Dean is just being blessed with this? Yeah, you're our starter. Here we go. I don't know. But, yeah, he was, from all accounts that I read, and I'll go back and watch the game. Today's a good day. I'm going to do it. He was horrible on Sunday.
Yeah, if you believe in the scoring out process, he finished in bottom third of linebackers. And when Morrow and gosh, what am I? I'm drawing a blank. And Cunningham. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't always spectacular, but it wasn't that bad. He needs to have a big game against Dallas, or you got to think about going, look, go to Morrow and Cunningham again, because unless he gets somebody today, I think it's going to be a linebacker, and I think there will be two players joining the team today. I think they're going to make two moves. I think it's a backup offensive lineman and a linebacker. That's what I'll go with today. I think they do it. Get another body for the offensive line.
Well, they're getting one back in Jurgens.
Yeah, but just in case, I mean, you just saw Lane fighting through. By the way, Lane didn't show any effects this week of the injury.
No, and after Julio Jones caught that touchdown, I don't think I've ever seen Lane Johnson sprint as fast as he did to get down there to help celebrate. That's a neat thing, and I was looking for a side story on it. Haven't really seen one yet about the love affair that they have with Julio Jones. Yeah, he must have come into that locker room and really done some good things for those guys. But I don't think
is it a legendary guy coming in? Like, not a legendary. Is it a Hall of Fame player? He probably will end up in the Hall of Fame. Coming into your locker room that just makes everybody like, we're
not
excited.
Not that reaction, though. Like, that was more than just your.
It's very personal.
Yeah, well, it seemed to be. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we'll get the story, I'm sure, probably before they even play the Cowboys next week. But there's some love affair there with Julio Jones, and that's cool. If he can help you out, he said he's going to come here and dominate. If he can help you out just by getting you a few touchdowns or whatever, be that safety blanket, I'm good with it.
Julio will, is right now, Pat, he has a chance to give the Eagles their second ring, to contribute and really help them get their second ring.
Yeah,
because he helped a lot. He helped a lot in the first one.
I do appreciate his inability to catch the ball in the end zone on 3 straight shots.
3 out of 4. Yeah.
So, look, he's an upgrade over Zacchaeus. He's an upgrade over Quez Watkins. Like, that's all you need to know. They upgraded in that position. They upgraded in safety with Byard, and I think they're going to make another upgrade today, and probably linebacker.
Yeah, and that edge rusher thing really stuck out to me.
Weird?
That I read a story on that. So
do you remember who
think
it
it's
was?
all going to be. I don't. I think it's all going to be on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to go. No, I'm going to go edge rusher. I don't know why that stuck out to me so much. I'm going to go edge rusher.
Talk about the rich getting richer.
Could be, yeah.
Which would be nice.
And maybe you don't want that we want Nolan Smith in the game, so maybe you don't want that. So I don't know.
I want to see a little more Nolan right now. I'm sad to say it, a little more Nolan and a little less Nakobe right now, but we'll see. Hey, Brian in Dallas. Brian, it's a Beat Dallas week, and you're right in the heart of it.
Yeah. Hey, John. Hey, fellas. Hey, first, I want to say the most important thing today, man, is wish me happy birthday. Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy. Born on Halloween.
Yes, sir.
Did that screw you? Did that screw you as a kid?
Oh, no, man. It was great, dude. Man, it was Halloween, kids. Everybody celebrated birthday. It was awesome.
But you didn't have, did you have birthday cake on Halloween?
Absolutely, man. Twofers, man. My mom will have a birthday party for me, at the house. And then when I go to school, because everybody's dressed up in trick-or-treat and stuff like that, the teachers have a birthday party for me.
Well, that's
dude,
nice.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
You've had a good life, Brian.
I would say so.
He lives in Dallas, Bob.
Good man.
What kind of good life is he really leading?
Hey, it's a trade-off. But hey, John, now listen, we boys, man. But I'm just going to tell you about the last caller you had. Talking about we like the Vikings, right? Now, take the emotion out of it, right? Obviously, I hear what you're saying about the Eagles, the best team.
Yeah, the Eagles are the defending NFC champions, finding ways to win. They're not the Vikings. The Vikings have no pedigree.
Okay, all of what you're saying is true, right?
Right.
But take into consideration what Bob is saying, too, right? We're not the Eagles of last year, okay? We don't have a lot of the pieces that we had last year. So let's go by this year. And the caller, whether you agree with him or not, or like what he said or not, I think this is the point he's saying. When you look at us and the team down here, one thing that stands out, one win separates the two of us. And when you look at common opponents, they have dominated the people we're barely beating, including the team that beat us.
You sound scared, Brian. I got to tell you. You sound scared.
I don't sound scared. I'm doing what you do. I'm just telling you facts.
I'm going to tell you.
It's
I'm
not
going to tell you
about
this.
being
I'm going to tell you this
scared.
fact.
No,
Brian,
wait,
Brian. Let me tell you some facts. Brian, two-way conversation here.
Okay.
I'll tell you some facts. While every other contender that's considered a Super Bowl contender is finding ways to lose games, we are going to criticize the team that is finding ways to win games?
No, that's not a criticism. No, that's not a criticism. Everybody wants to be 7-1. That's not an issue at all. I'm just saying what he's saying about how we have been playing, right? He's right. We all agree. We haven't been playing well, right? We
all can agree on that.
Football.
Yes.
Yeah, right. We haven't played our best football, right? Dallas has already faced a team that they could play in the postseason. This is our first test.
And they got beat by 30, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And we haven't been tested like that yet.
And
So
there's nobody will beat the Eagles by like 4 touchdowns.
Oh, but who cares whether it's 4 or 1 point? A loss is a loss.
Well, I mean, I get you. You sound a little nervous, Brian. You sound a little nervous. I'm telling you right now, I feel good. Again, I feel good. I don't feel great. I felt great about the Miami game. I feel good about the Dallas game. How are you feeling today, Bob? It's Tuesday.
Not there yet. Not towards any feeling. Just don't. I thought I'd have more, but then this Harden thing came down and kind of wiped all the NFL out of my mind for the time being. So, yeah, I injury report looks good. They might get Cam Jurgens back, which is good because that's your starter from the beginning of the season. It looks like Jalen Hurts is fine. Jalen Carter appears to be okay.
Thank heavens for that. That's a huge one.
Yeah, so I feel good about that stuff. Got to take a deeper dive into exactly what's what. Like I heard somebody, I don't know, it must have been the afternoon show or whatever, that somebody said, "Oh, Dallas offense sucks."
What?
No. Yeah, I think it was a caller.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't know if I can say that, just knowing the names on the roster and seeing some of the points that they've put up. So the Dallas week is always funny because you have to, like the caller just said, sometimes you got to get emotions out of the way and really look at the team honestly. Dallas always gives the Eagles trouble.
I think Dallas is
Dak Prescott always gives the Eagles trouble.
I think Dallas is a hell of one of the top 3 teams in the NFC. And now one of them has sort of sprung a leak in San Francisco, and I don't know if they're going to turn it around to be able to, like, stop the bleeding. I do know this, is Dallas found a way to lose a game, just like the Eagles did against the Jets, and then Dallas faced their best opponent and lost by 32 points. And I've asked before, Pat, could you believe there's any team in the NFL that would beat the Eagles by 32 points?
No.
Do you think there's any that would beat them by 22?
Yes.
If they didn't start Jalen or something? Or you do believe...
Are you talking like they beat them?
Yeah, beat them by more than 3 touchdowns. I don't see the
no,
Eagles.
No. I thought you meant they scored 22.
No.
No, I don't think, no.
Like, that always tells me something about teams. And it told me something about Miami going into the Miami game, is that the best opponent they played beat them by 4 touchdowns. And it's just, look, Dallas is a good team. And it is a throw out the records type of thing. They usually split. Eagles and Cowboys usually split. And Dallas has no fear of coming into Philly and winning a game.
No.
They've been there. It usually goes 1-1. And if the Eagles go 1-1, this division is over, in my opinion. I'll write it in Sharpie. If they go to 8-1 this weekend, the division race is over. I think it's done, completely done, and then you're worried about just getting the number 1 seed. Because Dallas will have
join you on that.
Dallas have 3 losses. Dallas will have 2 conference losses. Eagles will be sitting at 8-1 like they were last year, but they will have no conference losses, which is huge. Especially if you're coming down to they got to get the 2-game scenario is such an advantage over the 3-game scenario. The NFL does it right.
God, yeah. Getting that bye and then being able to play 2 home games and boom, Super Bowl. That's phenomenal.
I mean, that is the path.
And it's not like you have too many teams in the playoffs for the NFL either, in my opinion.
I think the NFL's perfect.
Yeah.
It is. To me, it's perfect the way that they do it. So, Pat, by 4:00 today, Howie's going to put a smile on your face. It's going to be a smile.
I hope so.
He is
smiling earlier.
He's going to put a smile on your face. Now, I'm wondering. I cannot wait to hear what Andrew Salchinas has to say, because If you were, have you already discussed it with him?
No, we were telling stories of other things. He's
Okay.
got his Sixers jersey on. He's
He
got
is.
his Eagles hat on. He's ready to go today. He is a trick-or-treating sports enthusiast.
I want to hear the level of positivity out of a guy like Chunas. So I'll be tuned in next. Hope you will be too. Support life-saving cancer research. Join us on our generous partner, David Auto Group, and make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research today. You can do it at 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives. Be safe tonight when you're out on the, with the kids and everything. Make sure, look out for cars. Have a great time. Happy Halloween. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. We'll have more fallout of the Harden deal. And also, too, we look ahead to the big game this Sunday between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Stick here with the Fanatic all day long. Carry that Fanatic app on with you all day. Have a great day, everybody.